Warning. The following presentation may contain excessive alcohol consumption, obscene language, controversial opinions, heavy metal, and actual wrestling chat. As such, it has been rated M for metal.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. Welcome along to the latest edition of Mickey's Mosh Pit. As usual, I'm your host, the heavy metal hooligan, Mickey Vigo. Now, as I mentioned last week, I do have a list of names in my wee notebook of guys that I'd like to get on this nonsense of a podcast before the end of the year. So this coming week, I'll be trying to set up some recording dates for those, picking out some messages to the lucky few or unlucky few, depending on how you want to look at it, to try and nail down some dates for those. The episode following this one is another heavy metal mixer. I'm not going to reveal the lineup just yet, but I will say that we've got a couple of returning guests coming back, plus a couple of new faces debuting in the Mosh Pit. One of which I'm fairly confident that it's going to annoy Billy Strachan, because it's another one I've nabbed before he's got them on. But keep your eye out for the trailer coming for that one to find out who's on the second mixer. As far as today's episode is concerned, we've got Aspen Faith coming by the Mosh Pit. I think we haven't seen each other since Christmas Chaos 2019, so it's almost 2 years now. So we did have quite a bit to chat about. We covered some wrestling, a little bit of music, plus all the other nonsense that popped up along the way, as it usually does on this podcast. But we'll just jump straight into it. So here we go. It's Aspen Faith. So welcome to the latest edition of Mickey's Mosh Pit. Joining me today is the hippie horror. It is the King of Cats.
Oh God!
It is the Lost Boy. It is Billy Strachan's favourite wrestler, Aspen Faith.
I'll do that for the hippie horror.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but I've forgotten.
There's a lot more.
Yeah. Those were
I don't mention the hippie horror. I don't mention the hippie horror anymore. I don't know if I can use King of Cats anymore due to circumstance. So I'm just Lost Boy Aspen now. But yeah, I had I remember the second match I ever had, because like I just debuted and I thought I was a fucking superstar now because I'm a wrestler now.
Already
took an hotel in Frozen.
You're fine now. I missed most of that.
Right. Second match, I thought I was fucking amazing. I thought I was a fucking superstar because I'd had a match now. So it was my second match. It was in Northern Hotel. Martin wasn't there for some reason, so it was Mr. P that was the referee, the ring announcer.
Aye.
So obviously I gave him a list of nicknames to announce me as. And the ones I remember were the solar-powered superstar. There must have been like 6 or 7 names on the list, and the last one was the hippie horror. And fucking God bless him, Dave P read all them out.
I was going to say, was he meant to read them all out, or was he just meant to pick one?
I wanted him to read them all out. I wanted to be like, there you go, read that list.
Like Apollo Creed, just a million nicknames.
Like, read that list, begin to end. I wrote it all in a wee note. There you go. Because I'm sure like it was like last minute he was doing the ring announcing. So like, I think he maybe had cue cards or something, just in case. Yeah. So I would fucking roll. There you go. There's 7 nicknames. Read them in that order. The second last one was the hippie horror, because the last one I made sure it rhymed with Aspen Faith, because I thought it was cool. The last one was the Woodstock Wraith, Aspen Faith. And I was like, well, that's good.
Yeah. Aye.
I don't think I knew what Wraith meant, but
It
rhymed.
Didn't care. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
See, I missed that era. Like, I was before my time, even before I was at wrestlers on shows. The Happy Horror was before my time.
Yeah. What was your first show? It was the Anarchy, wasn't
it?
Or was Anarchy like the last show before you started training?
No, I was at the Rumble that year, and I was at
right.
Anarchy. That would have been 14. That would have been the one you was in when Len.
The first one with Len.
Aye, with Marty Jones. If you want to get into that.
Some boy. I mean, I could, but I'd have to go through the whole day.
Yeah, go ahead. I've heard it before, but let's do it because it's tremendous.
So, obviously, Marty was he was Len's second at ringside.
Was that one of the sport rules? Right. Yeah.
So Marty was the gimmick was that Len picked Marty as his second to be there at ringside.
Aye.
And I thought it was amazing because it was like, it's Marty Jones. And then the story really starts a week before the show. Because we went down to Glasgow. It was like me, Mikkey, Scott, Archer, a few of us. We went down to Glasgow and we did a seminar with Marty Jones and Johnny Saint. Right?
Okay.
This is the first time I ever met Marty Jones, and the introduction to him is like we've warmed up, we're all ready to go. He's still, we've warmed up before he's arrived, and he comes in the room. He just walks into this training place with all these trainees like lined up waiting to meet him and Johnny Saint. He walks in like track pants and a Ribera jacket, and I'm like, oh my God. Because he obviously needed people to know he'd been in Japan. And I was like, all right, whatever. This is the first time I've ever met him. But he's got a Ribera jacket, so he's probably all right.
He must be.
And then the first thing he says to the class, he goes, this is where you're going to get the first of my Marty Jones voice impressions. The first thing he says is he goes, right, I'm not being sexist, right? But can all the guys come out here with me, and can all the girls go with Johnny? And he sent all the girls with Johnny saying, and we're like, all right. I mean, that's a very sexist thing to say right after you've said I'm not being sexist. but yeah. So that session was like, it was when we did get a chance to do stuff with Johnny, it was cool because he was teaching us like tech and stuff.
Yeah.
But when we were in with Marty, I say in with Marty, we didn't get in the ring with Marty. We were outside. Have you ever been to Source?
No.
So like outside the ring, there is like gym mats, like we used to have at Scout Hut.
Yeah.
Underneath that is carpet on concrete.
Right. Okay.
And he made us move the gym mats. So I don't need that. We don't fucking need that. And then he had us doing cross bodies on the floor.
Fuck that.
And I'm like, because he had us doing the spot where it's like, if you were in a ring, it would be like duck one, step off the middle turnbuckle, turn, go through the legs,
like proper
hit the rope, cross body. But he had us doing that where we're stepping off the wall, and then we had to go under the legs on this carpet. It's like like the super rough carpets you got at school, like with like the fucking. So we're like skidding on there. Getting burns on our legs and stuff, and then we turn around and we got to do a crossbody on the floor, and the guy's got to catch us and take the bump. And then he got us in the ring and he got us doing another crossbody drill. He was obviously obsessed with him. But I think I rolled my ankle or something, and I was like, Marty, I'm going to need to sit out. I can't get in there and feed up. That's how I rolled my ankle. He had folk doing cross bodies, so he had one person on each buckle.
Yeah.
And you know, like the one where you take the tackle, you bump and you feed to the next person, take a tackle.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but you're taking high crosses off the ropes, right? But he, at this point, I was like a wee skinny boy, and I slide in, and I just look up, and he's got like Jackie Polo and Joe Coffey on the ropes, and I'm like,
fuck.
So I rolled my ankle anyway, and he was like, "Oh, just go fucking sit out then, bro." And I was like, "All right, well, this is going to be great next week." After that seminar, he told everyone that there was no one there that was good enough to wrestle back in his day.
Obviously, of course,
none of us would make it, and all that sort of stuff. So that was good. So that was an introduction to Marty, and for like the next week, I was like, Marty's an asshole. Like, what am I going to do?
At this point? Like 3 years, 4 years at this point.
What year was that?
14 would have been.
So I started training 2011. My first show was December 2011, but I was as a super executioner in a battle royal.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, but my first actual match would have been January 2012.
Aye.
So barely a year, maybe a little bit over a year. Well, no, it would have been maybe a year and a half to 2 years, maybe, right? But I'm still like, this is a big deal for me, because like I was super into World of Sport, and like I liked Marty watching the World of Sport stuff and all that, and now he's been an asshole to me. It's sauntered about in a like a freaking Ribera jacket, like got everyone in the group, and he's like, you know you told us all we weren't very good, and then he was like, you know who were good? Rollerball Rocco, weren't he, Johnny? And Johnny's just getting changed. He goes, yes, Matty. He's like, he's done with Marty.
Just not interested.
He couldn't be bothered anymore. But yeah, so it comes to the next week, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not bad. He's gonna just be at ringside. You know, he's doing the towel gimmick with Len, and he's giving him water or whatever.
Aye.
And he turns up, and like almost the first thing he does is he goes up to Martin, and he's like, so I'll come out to simply the best. And it's like,
nope.
Well, I mean, you are going to come out with Len to the World of Sport music because you're the second. He's like, oh, no. I'll come out to simply the best. And I'm like, well, don't have simply the best. And he's like, well, I mean, it'll have to be Eye of the Tiger then. And it's like, what? Will it? All right. So he got his wish, and he got Eye of the Tiger or whatever. But the whole show backstage, he's just trying to change the match. And it's like Len hasn't wrestled since like 1996 at this point. And we've meticulously planned this match so that Len can get through it and everything. You know, we know everything that's happening and whatever. And Marty's like trying to change stuff. And I'm like, Jesus. At some point, he decides. I had James Midas as my second, but I also had KT Kane.
Yeah.
So at some point, he's like, you know what we'll do at the end? And I was like, oh God, here we go. He goes, what I'll do is, I'll come in and I'll pop you both, right? I'll pile yous up. I'll pick up the lass and I'll throw her onto the fat lad. I was James Midas. I'll throw her onto the fat lad. You'll all be in a pile. And then I'll stand with my foot on you, looking victorious for the crowd. And I was like, no, you won't. Which I was like, a young guy who's only been wrestling a couple of years to go to Marty Jones, you won't. That was probably, I think it was because I was getting annoyed, so I started being a bit more ballsy about it. I was like, you won't. And he was like, oh, and he kept going on about like gorilla pressing KT Kane. And I was like, so I went to like Bill or whoever, and I was like, this boy's saying he's going to pick her up, and he's not listening to me. And so they went, and I think they made up something like, oh, she's worried about it, so just leave it out or whatever. He's like, okay, no bother. Next thing I know, he's in the car park with her above his head, and I was like, fucking hell, this boy's keen to do this spot. But he got told no, and he was like, okay, it won't happen. Then, I don't know how, some old guy got backstage, right? I don't know if you know this, but some old guy got backstage.
I think I've heard this part.
And it turned out that I guess it did turn out. It turned out that he was a wrestler back in the day as well.
Aye.
And his name was Monty Swan, right? Which I thought was the best name I've ever heard. But he comes back into our room, and it's like, so it's me, Len, and Marty. And he comes in, and he's got a wee book of all like his photos of people, him wrestling people.
Aye.
It's like a collector's book he's made. And I'm like, you know, the kind of little booklets you get like from like your wedding photographer, and they make you a wee booklet or whatever.
Ah, yeah, aye.
But it's him wrestling folk in the 70s.
Aye.
And he's like, that's me wrestling this guy. And I don't know who any of these people are, right? And I saw one, it was Tony Charles. And I was like, oh, I know that name. He's speaking away to Len. And then he goes over and speaks to Marty, and Marty's like, oh, it's great to see you. You know, I haven't seen you so long. How's the family? And he's asking all these questions. And then Monty goes to leave. And like, he's got like 1 foot out the door. And Marty goes, who the fuck was that guy? And I'm like, you've just spoke to him for like a good 15 minutes about his family and how he's getting on with his life, and then you just like mugged him off as soon as he leaves the room. Great. So Marty's sorting about being Marty, still try like getting Len's ear to change stuff and all that. But Len's like, no, it's fine. I'm just humouring him or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. So at that time, because I'd like the story we're doing, I attacked Len, and the crowd hated me, and I wasn't allowed backstage because all the boys hated me or whatever. So I came through the crowd. So you know, like in the ballroom, there's like the run that goes around the hall.
Yeah, aye.
So me and Midas are in this bit, and we're like next to like where the kitchen is.
Aye.
Waiting to go out, and Marty comes out to his, you know, eye of the tiger. He gets in the ring, and he just starts speaking absolute rubbish. Like the whole story was that I asked for a World of Sport match, or Len did, whatever, one of the two. And Len had went and personally picked him to be his second at ringside because he wanted someone that he trusted in this. And Marty Jones comes out and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, the British Wrestling Board of Control has asked me to be here to oversee this match. And I'm like, what is going on? And he does this wee promo where he's like explaining the rules of the match, which Martin was going to do. And then Marty was like, no, I'm doing that. All right, whatever. So he did it. And then he goes, I'd like to introduce to you all Mr. Len Ironside. And then dubstep starts going and my music hits. Because he's not been like smartened up to the fact that I'm coming out first. He just wanted to go out and cut a promo, so they just let him. But he introduced Len and I walk out. And he's not happy about that. And he's also not happy that I'm walking through the crowd. Or that I've got 2 seconds. So already he's fucking moaning. And I get over the barrier and he's like, he goes, how come you've got 2 folk at ringside? I goes, I do whatever I want, mate. So he wasn't happy about that. Just before we started to go out, Caden Garrick, he was just like training at the time, so he was like helping out the show. He comes running fucking around like this. He's like, Marty says to remind you that he's doing a spot with Katie Kane. And I was like, well, that's not happening. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, he says he's going to do a thing. If you put her if you go to the outside at some point, he's gonna pick her up. And I'm like, that's fucking not happening. So obviously Midas decided that we're next to the kitchen, so we're sticking knives in our boots, just in case, you know.
He's shooting now.
Yeah. Midas has decided that we're now shooting. We're going to put knives in our boots. Let's go. All right, cool. So we're in there, and so we've planned out the match so Len can get through it, and it's an easy match, and it's got like the right sort of beats where like the crowd are going to like this or not going to like this, you know, whatever. And the whole match, Marty's calling stuff, and he's going, hit the ropes, lad. I'll sweep your leg, and I'm like, no, I will not. And then between each round, if you watch back the footage, you see like every round, Len goes and sits in the corner, Marty gets up, and Marty's like right in his ear like this. And then I shout Denzel over, and I tell him, exactly, move for move, what the next round is. And I go tell Len that right now. And he walks over to Len and he tells him the round. And Marty's just fucking staring daggers at me. At one point, Marty shouted at the ref to make me tuck my lacer back into my trunks because it was against regulations. All this just whatever. So the planned aftermath of the match, I cheat to win, and it's going to be me and Midas raise our arms, turn round. There's Len and Marty. Oh no, they give us one. We bump. We go outside, and then Len and Marty get like the way with their music or whatever. So I win. Midas comes in. We're like, yeah, turn around. Nobody's there. All right, okay. Way, turn around. Nobody's there. We turn around like 3 times. There's just nobody there. And then eventually, I just hear, bump, bump, bump. And I'm like, Marty's got a mic, has he? Oh, God. I turn around and Marty's like, I can't believe that you've just cheated this man out of his retirement match. That is, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, he started stumbling over his words. And I was like, all right, come on, spit out, old man. He goes, old man? I goes, yeah. I go, speak up. He goes, speak up. I'll put you down. And I was like, oh, Jesus. And like this point, it's like, none of this is planned. This is just like, Marty Jones is now shooting on me, telling me he's going to knock me out. And then he's like, you know what? I feel like coming out of retirement right now. And I'm like, oh, he's trying to get a tag match, isn't he? He goes, I'm feeling it. So whatever happens, I'm like, right, Midas, just swing at them and see what happens. So we swing, they block, and boom, we bump, roll out. Midas is on the way to roll out, and Marty grabs his arm and goes, take a backdrop, kid. And he goes like that, and Midas just goes, fuck off, and pushes him away and rolls out the ring. And then you just see on the footage Marty going up to Martin. He's like, did you see that? Disrespect that is, blah, and he's giving it all this. Like, Jesus Christ. So we get backstage, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to wait here till he comes back, and then I'm going to be like, thanks for the match,
Aye.
Be respectful about it. And he comes through, and he just shoulder tackles me and walks past me. Tells Len that I should never have been broken into the business.
Genuinely riled up.
Oh yeah. We all got changed, and then I'm like, right, I'll go have a wee seat beside like the door to get out, because like the fire exit in the back ballroom that you go out in the car park.
Yeah.
So I'm like waiting there for him, not like waiting there for him like I'm going to do him, but waiting there like I'm going to thank him. I'm going to thank him because he's calmed down by now. And instead what happens is he kicks my fucking case with my gear in it, and it falls over and the handle breaks off. And I'm like, the guy that I used to watch on World of Sport has just turned up to Aberdeen, told me I'm a shit wrestler, and then broke my fucking case. I'm like, oh, great. And then he goes off to whatever. He went to the after party. And he was like putting holds on drunk people and stuff.
Yeah, of course he was.
Of course he was. And then just to top it all off, he asked WrestleZone for more money, as far as I'm aware.
I vaguely remember something about that.
For his hassles. Oh, okay. Oh, the only thing I did, I forgot this actually, during the show, before like the match happened or whatever, that was the show that it was Grado versus Scotty Too Hotty.
Yeah.
He was watching on the monitor, and they did. There was a part of the match where Scotty's got Grado in the chin lock on the ground, and he's like waiting for the crowd. And Marty's like, they fucking lost the crowd. They fucking lost them. And then the crowd starts to come up, and he's like, no, none of those two will ever make it. And I'm like, fucking Scotty Too Hotty, mate. Like,
aye. He's already made it and been back again.
Aye, Scotty Too Hotty, just calm down. And he said, what else did he say? He here's some Marty Jones quotes. See that in New Japan on its fucking ass. I'm like, oh, okay. New Japan's on its arse. Do you know how much profit WWE makes every fucking year? How much, Marty? 0. All right. There was they've got catering backstage, and he picked up something off catering, and he looked at me and he went, what the fuck's this shite? And I went, it's a cheese sandwich. And he went, didn't have this shit in my day, and threw it down. He was alive before they started putting shit between bread. Like, what is this world we're living in? But that was my weekend with Marty Jones. Anyway, that was fun.
I've heard that story. There's even parts you told there I've never heard before.
Yeah,
it still pops me every time.
I think it's because other people tell the story, but I was like literally with Marty the whole day, and it was like I didn't even tell you the bit where like I got that annoyed that I got changed back into my normal clothes and unpacked my case and I'm walking out the building and Dickie's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm fucking leaving." Right? Marty's pissed me off. I'm going. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And he went and spoke to Marty, and I had to go get changed back into my gear. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, because Marty kind of ruined that day for Len, even like, it led into like the next year where we had the tag match with Bob Holly. So it gave Len an even better like last match where he did a wee high cross himself off a second.
Well,
that high cross was a year in the making, you know. That was from me in that seminar doing high crosses with the polos, right? A year later, fucking Len Ironside high crosses me in front of Bob Holly. Done. That's it. 1 year.
Fucking folk telling us like Bob was genuinely fucking nervous about that because it was Len's fucking.
Bob's down on his knees going like this to Len. Like amazing.
I say, like somebody that's been fucking in WWE for all day fucking years and did all this, and he comes back. He's like, he cares enough to he kens that's this guy's fucking night.
He's like the loveliest guy about it, whereas like Marty just wanted it to be all about him.
That's a difference, though.
Yeah, I did get chopped in the face by Bob Holly that day, so. Do you mind that?
If there's one person that would get chopped in the face by, it's Bob Holly.
Well, like I thought I was being smart, right? Because I pitched an idea to him where he chopped Johnny Lyons. Like,
I was that because fucking Johnny Lyons bottled it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he'd said someone who's got to take like 10 chops on it. He took like 3, and then that's enough.
He was like covering up or something. But Bob, so the idea I pitched to Bob, I was like, you just chop him like 10 times, and then I'm like, "Hi, you leave my tag partner alone, and you give me one big chop, and I'll bump and fall to the floor, and it'll be like a big funny thing." Yeah. That's me thinking, I'll just take one chop, be great. So he's chopping Johnny, boom, 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 and I walk up the apron, and I'm walking on the apron, and he's going to give me the chop over the top rope, which is fine. But I'm in my head. I'm like a little kid again, and I'm pretending I'm in my bedroom pretending I'm like Jericho and my brother's Bob Holly, and I'm going to take this cool big. So I'm walking up the apron, and then I'm like, I'll do a big kick up. So like I take the bump on the apron after this chop. And I went a little bit too early, so I started jumping, and then he chops. But by this point, I've started coming down, so my head's now lower. And he just chops me like square in the chin, and then the force of the chop caused me to over-rotate in my bump, and I landed on my head on the apron and fell to the floor, and I was like, oh God. That was I also remember we did near the finish, Johnny took the Alabama Slam.
Yeah.
Which is like, everyone's got a move that they just don't want to take. I'm never taking an Alabama Slam again. I took one and I got knocked out in Discovery. I'll never do that again. It's horrible. But that's obviously Bob Holly's finish. So he's got to give it to someone. And I remember he said to Johnny, he's like, get you up, whatever you do, just hang down my back. Don't post yourself off my shoulders, because then you won't have enough. I won't have enough like torque to get you around. Picks him up, first thing Steve does, posts right off his back, and I'm lying on the ground selling. All I can see is Johnny posted off his back, like exactly what he was told not to do. I'm like, God, Bob's not going to be happy with this.
I considered using the Alabama Slam. It is like a finisher, just as a move, and I practiced it on Archer once, and he hit the mat, and I was like, he was just broken. I was like, nah, if that's broken Archer, it's nobody's got to take that.
It's one of those moves that like I just hate taking. It hurts way too much because there's so much force.
Just momentum.
But then the one I took at Discovery, to be fair, was an inverted Alabama, so I took a front bump off it.
Right, okay.
But there's that much momentum that my hands didn't even stop it.
Just straight through.
And then like it's gone fuzzy for a second. The next thing I remember, I'm like halfway up to my feet, and Chris Brooks is like springboarding over the ropes and giving me a cutter, and I'm like, oh my god, straight down flat as well. But that's the last time I ever took a Alabama. Like even like at training when we've started back like contact and that.
Aye.
One of Grum's moves is he's like a big boy. One of his moves is an Alabama slam.
Is he from Montrose?
No, he's from up Aberdeen way.
I vaguely remember, like, we were at a music festival years ago, and I'm sure it was him that was kicking. We used to run I didn't run a bus, but it was one of my pals on a bus for a year, and I'm sure he was on the bus one year. Like he was pals with one of the guys from Montrose. I just assumed he was from Montrose.
I think he was born in Aberdeen, but then he moved to like somewhere besides Stonehaven or something.
Aye.
And now he's obviously down in Perth.
Aye, yeah.
But one of his moves is the Alabama slam. So every time it's like, right, we've got time at the end after we've done like our main sort of bulk stuff, yeah. And it's like, does anyone want to try any of the moves that they've done, but like they've not been able to do for like 2 years or whatever? He's like, oh, I want to try my Alabama slam. And I'm like, not me. He won't try it on me. So he's never done it yet. Because like we've never got around to it. But I'm like, no, I can't take it. I'll just die.
Aye.
I know it will.
Like you said, there's certain, like, Abdi's got like one or two that we'll never take.
Aye. Like the other one for me is the snappy like power slam, like the Randy Orton style scoop power slam.
Yeah.
That and like a Northern Light suplex. Stuff where like I have to do a flip, but my upper torso is higher than the person's head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can take a normal suplex because like they've got me here. But if I'm standing up here and their head's under here, my head just goes straight into the mat. I'm telling you. That's why anytime I've wrestled Scott, he does a Northern Lights. It's a good Northern Lights. You never see me take it. I'm sorry, I'm not taking that.
Aye. See, like my like you're saying, the power slam thing, that was originally meant to be like IV's part of the comeback. That was originally meant to be like Orton's one, and it just got to that was guys couldn't take it, or they couldn't get the spin right or whatever. So I was like, nah, I just have to do like the big fucking British
do like a big one now.
The big animal, the big fucking rotate.
But even then, I fucking struggled to take that off you, didn't I? We had that match in Newton Hill, and I'm like halfway up into the scoop, and I'm like, oh, this is not going well. And it wasn't you, it was all me, because I'm just like, there's just something about that movement, like even normal flip bumps, like a hip toss or that. I close my eyes on them. I can do them, but I close my eyes. Like a normal suplex, I'll close my eyes.
Aye.
But then when I got to that, and you were like, oh, it's like a big slow power slam. I was like, easy. My worry was like, are you gonna be able to lift me? Because I'm a big boy now. You were like, I'll be fine. And then halfway up, I'm like, he could have probably done it perfect, but I don't know what the fuck I've just done. And I'm like, I'm upside down and I don't know where I'm going. I just don't know the direction I'm going now. And I'm like, oh well.
Like I've started doing, guys, just jump straight up. Like I can catch it and do the spin, just jump up. As long as you get height, I can get, once you're up, I can get you around. You
just catch up and you turn them once they're
basically, aye. That seems to be the easiest way to get.
That's what we did. I think I tried to flip, but I flipped at you, and then you tried to lift me up, and I was just like at this weird angle. I was like, I don't know where I am now.
Aye, there's like that's like some guys have started like they've tried to do it and they've just jumped into me. I was like, nah, so I've just like for now it's like, nah, just jump up, straight up, and I'll fucking get you and we'll go.
That's all you need. Yeah, yeah. I've reduced my moveset to moves that I can do to people without them having to do anything. It's all like it's moves from like certain angles where I've got like a good deadlift and stuff like. what do I need to do to take this? Just jump in a general area and the move will happen. Don't worry.
We'll see. We got Garrick as a third man, so it like reduced. Like I didn't have to be power guy anymore, so it's reduced my move fit by 50%. It's like
your moveset's now just punches and kicks.
I'm just a brawl guy now, just a fighting guy.
That's it. That's what you need. That was like when we started the King of the Catch, because I used to do all like the technical wrestling and stuff in my matches, and it's like, well, you're better than me at that. You do all that stuff, and then I'm just like forearm. Here's a rake to the back. And then I might do a wee moonsault at the time because he couldn't do a moonsault, and I was like, that's my one cool bit that keeps me relevant in the team.
Aye, that was the one I riled Archer up. That one I got at Anarchy that year. The picture perfect.
Because I taught you how to do it at training to annoy him. Like what's the purpose of annoying him?
There was one day we turned up. It was just like I was the only one that turned up that week. It was like,
do you want to do moonsaults? I suggested it as a joke because I thought you were going to say no. I was like, you want to do moonsaults? And you're like, yeah, sweet.
Here we go.
And then you were hitting them perfect. And I was like, Archer's going to be absolutely livid.
He
tried
to play up, but you could see he was visibly annoyed. Like
you've made him obsolete. Like what moves does he do that you can't do now?
That's very
Don't need him. Don't need him.
But yeah.
Is Caden still wrestling? I haven't seen him at any of I haven't heard anything about him in ages, or I don't know if he was still coming to training or stuff now that it's back on.
He was back for the first few weeks and then he got injured again. I think it was through wrestling. Either he's back at work.
Right.
So he's stopped again just now, but whether he'll come back then again. I hope he comes back because we're a good thing going. We're just getting fucking running as a 3-man.
Yeah. Because it's perfect as well, because you've got usually, and then you've got foundation.
Aye, the foundation. That's pretty much why I pitched it. Like, I pitched it to fucking Bill.
I see what that is. You're like, Dynamite's getting a wee push. Right. Let's get in there. Let's get in there, boys.
It was worth it. Archer and Garrett can be the tag team. We'll get a singles push.
Right. Against Dynamite.
Aye.
Dynamite's getting a push. You might win the belt.
But aye, that was part of because like we've always had this thing of again we could be a 3-man. Like we're meant to be this gang. Like we never mentioned being a biker gang. The thing I always took for it was like the Warriors, the film.
We're
just a street gang.
Yeah, but see, even before you debuted, right? Like I was in the room where you were named, right?
Yeah.
Like remember we were in the office and we're trying to come up with like a last name for you or whatever.
Aye.
We're googling the Vagos from GTA San Andreas. But like even then, like the whole thing was like, let's look up like biker gang names.
I remember, like even before that.
Once has it ever been said on a show or in a promo that you're bikers?
No. See where it came from? There was one promo the Thunderbirds did.
Oh, the hairy bikers.
They compared us to the hairy bikers, and that was the thing that kicked it off. So that we got lumbered with that ever since. Like we've never mentioned anything. Like we've never played on that.
You've never rode a bike?
Nah. Well, I didn't legally, but yeah, I've been on.
But you'd look.
Aye.
It's like like the Purge. So like,
aye.
Like Crowbar is a biker. Like
yeah, aye.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Like, yeah. So his gimmick is he's a biker because he is a biker, and then it's like you look at Archer, and you're like, that's a wee bike to fit you, like. Yeah.
Like Dave P's always got this thing. It's like, you need anarchy, you need to come out in bikes. I was like, you trust Archer
you'd have to,
a bike.
You'd have to teach Archer to ride one for a start.
Like, it would be me and a bike and him in the sidecar. That would be what it would be.
That'd be amazing, though.
He's like, he's a big fucking long scarf flapping behind him.
That'd be brilliant. You should do that. Just get a scarf and put like a bit of metal rod in it so it sticks out. That'd be amazing.
But yeah, but like,
you get him to come out on one of them like mini scooters things. Like one of the Razor scooters from like '99.
Mini motos.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about them. That's a memory you've unlocked. A mini moto.
Tiny bike.
I forgot them. All the wee Neds driving about in mini motos thinking they're great.
Whatever happened to them?
Surely they were like designed for actual children, not
Aye.
Not like teenagers all squished up on it like
that. Yeah. But like you said, like the biker thing, I always took it as like we were just a street gang, like the Warriors or whatever. And then we got lumbered with this biker thing. I was like, well, that's a bit more now. But then, like I said, we pitched it to Bill being I pitched it to Bill being a 3-man because of foundation. And he's like, and I had this big spiel fucking thingy for fucking, because I was getting asked for Garrick. And I had this big spiel fucking, if he'd any kind of like, we can't do this because of this. And I had counter arguments in hand.
Yeah.
I've got this. So I did a promo for some show somewhere. I want to say it was fucking Hell or something against fucking Valhalla.
Right.
And afterwards I says, look, I've had this idea for being a 3-man. I can give you Garrick. I'm like, oh well. Thanks very much.
Job done.
That wasn't hard. But yeah, like I said, we were just getting rolling as a 3-man, and like.
What was the reason you wanted Garrick? Because he's probably the least bikery out of everyone.
It's because, like, I had this idea for you. We could play this big story where fucking we're looking for a 3rd man. Like it was never revealed he was the 3rd man, and then like we'd be in training in Archer's Tech, but I can it's Garrick and what can we've been in feuds with him before. He's a fucking nightmare to fucking fight. Can he be?
Yeah. So
we kind of got that in. Like the original idea was we'd keep it secret up until Halloween. That Halloween show we did with the 6-man against the Foundation, and it was meant to be like basically what we did. Like the music played and we never came out, and like they just assumed we couldn't get a 3rd man, and we hadn't turned up. And then we came out behind them like hoods up and fucking masks on, and then it's unveiled that Garrick's a 3rd man. But
which is like you'd get in, you've got masks on, and like the only human being in the country that's got that body. It's like, that's Garrick.
Aye, basically. Yeah. that was my idea for an update, and it's like it was revealed before then, so we had to make like me and Garrick weren't getting along, and we played off of that instead. But yeah.
Right, yeah.
But like we were cutting we're shooting fucking promo kind of stuff, and
because I remember you started putting like videos up and stuff. Because I was like the same sort of time that we were doing our videos like on YouTube and that, and then you started putting ones on Facebook, did you?
Aye, yeah.
I remember that.
But yeah, it was just
because it was all like you playing poker and stuff, wasn't it?
Aye, basically. But it was just to be something different, because like every WrestleZone fucking promo is the same pretty much. Like it's filmed in front of.
That's why like for ages.
Like,
that's why for ages I was like, I'm just, when you would turn up to training, like we need a promo from you. I was like, no, if you need a promo, I'll do one at home, or I'll go somewhere else, because I wanted mine to be different.
Aye.
Like I used to do mine on location and stuff, because I didn't want it. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't want my promos to just be another in front of a banner at the unit. You know what I mean? So it'd be like, if you need a promo, I can literally go tomorrow and you'll have a promo tomorrow. Like, but I'll go somewhere and film it.
Aye, yeah.
Just so it looked different as well. Like,
but that's the thing. I think the Miro was just I can understand the newer guys, but guys that have been there for years, just give them a bit of trust and let them go and do their own thing. That's why we started being there. Like, just fuck it, we'll just go and do it ourselves.
I think some of it is like on the guys themselves, so to like take initiative and be like, my character would do promos this place, or this works for me. It makes me stand out rather than.
Also, I think
that's on the guys themselves.
I think part of the reason is that fucking me and Archer fucking like it. We're horrible at getting fucking promos done. Like if they ask us to do one, and it's just like, if you got a spare fucking half an hour, because this is literally how long it'll take.
I mean, I think the only person that takes longer is like Sean. Sean's a mess with promos. It's like 10 takes later, and I'm like holding the camera like, Jesus Christ,
arm shaking,
hands going now, like, yeah. Because that was great when Sean was champion. So he's having to do more promos now.
Aye.
It was like every week. I can't get started at training yet because the first half an hour of the lesson's me like this. That was when I was like editing them and putting them all up on YouTube and that.
Aye.
So I was like, I've got the camera, I'm filming it, and it's like, oh, Lou, we need you to film a Sean promo, and I'm like, I just won't get changed. Come on, here we go.
To be fair to him, towards the end, he was getting better.
Like,
he got better over time, yeah. But
Yeah.
like the first month or two, it was just like, how many takes this? We're on take 7. Can we can we cut the promo in half or something? Like shorten it. Or we did at one point for a couple of the promos, we did it like a couple of lines, and then I would like splice in footage of like what had happened, and so we could do cuts.
Aye, see,
that was good.
That's how I managed to cut our promos down. It's like, look, Archer, like I had my bit sorted. I'll let you speak first. So if you fuck it up, I've got my bit. Like I didn't have to spiel through like fucking 3 minutes of my stuff, and then it'd be fucked because you fucked someone up and gone into the woods.
Aye, you only need to do it the one time that he gets it right.
Aye, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing Archer on the bus here, but aye,
no,
basically.
No, we're throwing Archer on the bus.
He knows.
I hope you're watching, Archer. I hope you're watching. You deserved that. You deserved my first match.
He will be. Like I said, his name comes up every time.
Every time.
Like we always have the Archer corner.
Well, I was with Archer for like my first 6-7 months. Like whether I'm just wrestling him or him under a mask, or I'm just like, who am I wrestling on the show? Archer. Aye, okay. So I thought, but he got the worst of it though, because he got it when like I just got onto shows and I was still like young and energetic and youthful, and I quite obviously didn't get that wrestling wasn't real, and I was just heading on for real.
Just killing guys.
he just like Archer got the worst of it, so he just, because we trained together and stuff as well, it was like, like when you hit your mates harder anyway. But I was already too stiff at this point, and Archer just got the worst of it. And every match afterwards, he'd just be like, "I'm like, are you all right? Was everything okay? Yeah, fine."
Aye, yeah, he never sells it.
He won't. But that's why his body's broken.
Aye, like I dread if they ever splits up, like in Harry's feud, because we've been together for now fucking 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
And like you're hitting your mates harder, he's gotta get fucking leathered.
Yeah. And but I do wish sometimes, like looking back, like recently I went back and I watched like a lot of my older matches.
Aye.
Just because I hadn't done anything over lockdown and stuff, and I just started watching all my matches. And I was like, I'll go watch like older ones, because it's one of those things where I'm watching matches and I'm just like, I used to be well good at wrestling. What the fuck happened to me? Like, I'm doing moves and I'm like, I don't even remember doing that move. That's cool. I got all the way back to like my first 5 or 6 matches, and like apart from one against Tucker, they're all Archer, and it's just like poor wee boy, like he's just getting like shoot forearms, and I'm just like, I'm giving him the highest back suplexes anyone's ever seen, and he's just walking backstage like a wee little cripple boy, and then I'm just like, is everything okay? Yeah.
Fine.
Aye, I'm sure it was. I wish you'd just said, because it would have helped me like loosen up quicker and realize what am I actually able to do, rather than just beating him up and going, fine, great. This wrestling stuff's brilliant.
As soon as you're in there with somebody other than Archer, you're like, oh fuck. The guy's like, nah.
Guy's like, just calm down. Yeah.
Archer said it's fine.
That's what happened. That happened in my match I had a match with Noam. Like, I'd been wrestling for like barely a year, and I wrestled Noam. And I would personally say it was the worst match I've ever had.
Aye.
Which is a shame, because it's Noam. But I was sick, and like I was like, I need to, like I'd lost my voice completely, like because I was that ill.
Aye.
And I was like, Jesus. I'm gonna put a light on, because I feel like I'm slowly.
It's getting rather dull, yeah. You're kind of sitting in the dark.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Infinitely better.
Infinitely better. So I just caught it in the corner of my eye, and I was like, it looks like my hat and my beard and everything just blended. It looked like I was like a lion. But yeah, so like I was sick, and I was like, I don't want to miss this match, because it was like, at that point it was like the biggest match I'd ever had.
Aye.
And I was like, but I'd literally no voice because I'd been so sick. Like I was speaking like that, and I was like, "Plan the match, you like it." We went out and had this match, and I knew it was going downhill as soon as I made my entrance. And someone shouted something at me in the crowd, and as a heel, I went, "Shut up!" And I was like, "This is gonna go bad." But we had a match, and like, I just couldn't remember anything. My mind went just completely blank. And then he talked me through like the first wee bit of it. And then we got into the heat, and in the heat he was just like, "Jesus Christ, lighten up." And I was like, "Oh, I must be killing him." And then it later on comes, and the only thing that I could remember in the match, everything else he was calling, but literally the only thing I remember, he used to do a thing where you would grab him for a suplex, and he would spin out on the arm and kick you in the shin. You take the front bump, right? That's all I could remember, and I don't know why. That's the only thing I could remember. And I didn't know where it was in the match, but I knew that it was at some point. And someone had messed up, and like I'd forgot something, and we'd done that thing, you know, we just run into each other, and it just looks crap.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then he goes suplex, and I thought, I remember this spot, suplex. So I grabbed him, and I'm waiting for him to spin out the arm, and he jumps.
Genuinely suplex.
Yeah, I went like that, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna come out in the arm, he's gonna kick me, and then he jumped, and I'm like, oh crap, and like Noam's not that big, but I was like 21 at the time, and right now, I'm 241 pounds, right? I'm like 111 kilos. Then I was like 70, right? I'd never seen beyond like them wee booths outside Pure Gym that you go in. I'd never went beyond that wee secret booth that you go in that takes you into the gym, right? I had no idea. So he jumps, and I'm like, oh shit. And obviously, me being me, I'm like, instead of just letting him land on his feet again,
I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. I just tried to grab him, and he's like there. He's like that sort of distance. So he's maybe like gotten just past 90 degrees, and I'm like, oh no. And I just dropped him. I dropped him, and then I like crumble to the floor myself, and just like melt into myself, like, oh no. He rolls to the floor. Whoever was the ref starts counting, and I'm like, oh shit, this is going to go bad. Because now I see him come back at the ring, and I have no idea what's next. Because the one thing that I knew we were doing turned out to be someone else. He comes in, and I grab him, and he just breaks out of it, and like just gives me like a shoot roundhouse kick to the face. I got a black eye from it. Shoot roundhouse kick to the face. I go down. He covers me and he goes, "Stay down." And I'm like, oh god, this is bad. Like this. I think I've watched it back like one time, and that was like the week after it, and then I've never watched it again. I just can't. But yeah, he told me to stay down. 1, 2, 3. I got backstage, and like if you ask Scott or Bill or that, this was at West Hill. So you know you walk up the stairs onto like the stage, and there's the curtains. And obviously, it's literally just a curtain between you and the crowd. But I walked through the curtain, I went, for fuck's sake, and I fucking punched a wall. And everyone's like, oh shit. And they just like went, you know, like, oh, they just got about their business. But then, like, Noam sat and talked to me afterwards and that, and like, that, it was from there that it was like, you need to just like chill out with how hard you're hitting people, but also you just need to chill out in general, like, because you're getting so stressed and worked up about the match. You lost what you were doing in it. So that's why, like, now, like, obviously we've wrestled like I don't know how many times now, like tag matches and singles match and stuff, but like you'll know yourself, like I'm pretty chilled out about matches now because I'm just like, right, I'm just gonna go out there and have fun. Right? If someone messes up, it's fine, but it's from that match because that was like, that traumatized me. That's like, you know, when people come back from Vietnam and they're still like a changed person. That's me. That was me. That was my Vietnam. I was a changed person. Like,
like you're saying, having fun. Like that should be the main. Like that's especially what I do. Cause like I'm kicking 40 now. Like I've no illusions I'm going to go any further than far I am.
Yeah.
Like if
I'm 31 now.
I say
my last match I had, I was 29.
I second her.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not actively fucking chasing bookings, but if somebody comes with a booking, I'll consider it. But it's like I've no illusion.
Yeah.
Like if this is what I'm doing, I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna go out there and just take as much fun as I can doing it.
But like right now, like obviously shows are just kind of starting to come back, like down south, and then it'll come back up here as well. But like right now, I'm just like I'll work Reckless because like I'm a trainer there.
Aye.
I'll work at Discovery because that's always fun, and you know, like, and then obviously I want to work at WrestleZone as well. I want to try and get back there more regularly. I need to like speak to the guys on that and see what their thoughts are and all that. But like I want, like those are kind of the three promotions that I'm like, right, I'm gonna just focus on that just now, and whatever happens. I'm not like super bothered about like trying to get other places, but you know, I want to work those three places because they're always fun, and I can just chill out and have a good time, and then just see what happens from there. Like, that's what you need.
I
just want to have fun because I'm like, there's too many times that I've been like stressed out with matches and stuff, and then it's been there's been nothing to stress about. So I'm just like, you know, they say that thing where it's like, they say to all like the young boys, like, you know, oh, you're just bumping around and all that. Right? See, when you hit 30, it's all you're gonna start catching up on you, and you're gonna feel the bumps more and stuff, right? Like, I've not had a match in my 30s yet, and I'm 31. Like, I could literally go into a match next week, and I might just die when I fucking take a first move.
Just grumble.
I could, because you know, it all catches up on you in your 30s.
See, that's the thing. I never started late when I was 30. I started when I was 30, so like I didn't get anything before that.
You just, you're fine.
Just used to it.
Yeah, that's like you've found the workaround to the system.
Aye.
You just don't work as like a guy in their 20s. You just go straight into the 30s and then you're fine. That's why Batista is completely fine. Started in his 30s.
Yep.
But no, I was like, I realised that not long ago. I was like, I literally had my last match as a man in my 20s, and now I'm 31. Like, what the? I don't know if I don't know if I'm still a wrestler yet. I don't know if I can do it anymore. We'll see.
That's the thing, though, because we were just back at contact training this past week, and I was camping, so I missed it.
Yeah. So we started this week as well. So
now I'm still not entirely sure I can still wrestle. I've no idea.
Well, like, we started this week as well, and it was like, so you know when you're doing drills and stuff, but just by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing like maybe, you know, the one where it's like you got the punching bag and you sleep, hit the ropes, sleep, pick up the punching bag, slam it, all that sort of stuff, right? And you feel like my cardio's getting better, so it's good, right? But see when you do contact, and you now have to worry about another person and think about how hard you're hitting them, and thinking about bumping off of what they're doing and keeping each other safe. Cardio's gone. Everything's gone again. Like last week, we're doing drills, and we're doing like timed drills where we're like doing it for like, you know, 3, 4, or 5 minutes at a time. It's great. Cardio's there, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like running the ropes for like, you know, minutes at a time. And I'm like, oh, brilliant. And I went and I did an international, and I was just like, it's like, it's mental how much there's like adding another person in there, just absolutely, just, it's a whole other thing.
Aye.
And
like we did this thing, like, in fact, it wasn't even me. I came up with the idea. On Wednesday nights, it was me, Dynamite, Bradley Evans, Thunder, and about, I think it's doing it 2 hours. There was 3, but now there's only 2 trainees. So the 2 trainees were in the ring with Thunder.
That's an interesting group of people. Why is Ryan not there if he's part of that faction?
I don't know. Like Garrick was and Garrick's meant to be there. So it's like 2/3 of the rejected, 2/3 of the foundation. Like Archer was meant to be there, and then for whatever reason he didn't turn up like the first 2 weeks, like from we were back last year.
So he just didn't let him back.
He got bumped that Tuesday. Because fucking Dave P turned up, so he's like, nah, you can't come Wednesdays and else got Tuesday. And Ryan was on a Thursday because I think he only trained a Thursday anyway. But
work or something, yeah.
So anyway, like the Thunder was in the ring being someone with like just showing them the ropes. I fucking literally showing them the ropes. And we were outside, me and Bradley and Dynamite. And I says, well, go and help, like try and hit a match, but stand like 10 feet apart. So you try and be someone like a clothesline, and you're like, this guy will take the clothesline. So like,
it sounds like something that someone said as a joke, and Dynamite took too seriously.
No, it was a joke at the time. I was like, because we were just thinking of stuff we could do outside, like on the mats. And I come up with this idea, and I said, just try it and see how it works. And it actually, to be fair, it wasn't perfect, but they got someone out it, like try to work a match just standing like 10 feet apart. It was like, fuck.
Jesus.
Aye.
That's mental. I didn't do any of that.
But then I was saying like punches in the hand. I was like, that's gonna be fucking brutal because then I got missed by a mile. I just got right for his jaws.
I had them doing you know, like you get everyone in a circle and one guy's in the middle. Aye. And then you pick a strike. So nobody's done strikes in like 18 months. Aye. And I'm like, forearms. And like some of them were fine. And then some of them were just like, whoa, like I know that. Like, hopefully the next one's better because that was clearly like 2 years of pent up frustration that just came out.
Getting your aim in, yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 years worth of energy that's just come out of that elbow. And it was like, Jesus. It was good to just lock up and just like bull about and just just like roll about with someone with holes and stuff.
These stuff you hadn't done for a year and a half.
Yeah, it was just. And then obviously I had to practice my moonsault again and make sure I'm not killing people. Because again, I started off the pandemic 215 pounds and I'm 241 now. So luckily, like not all of that's fat. So
like I had this thing, I was like, I gotta get the best shape. I'm gonna fucking wrestle with that top one. And every 2 weeks I fucked it. I was like,
I did that.
At this point, it's like, as long as I've got the cardio to carry it, I don't care. I've resigned myself and just been a fat bastard now.
Sammy and Debbie have just appeared at a window.
Back. Might get running.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I did like the same thing. The first lockdown, I was like, I'll be back in a month or whatever. It'll be fine. I'll just work out at home. And then it just kept going. And eventually I was like, I'm probably not going to wrestle until like July, August. I'll just eat what I want just now. I ate what I wanted, and then I went and did that Insanity.
All right, aye.
And I lost a lot. Aye. Like I properly trimmed down, and then we went back into lockdown again. And I was like, well, I'm not wrestling for the rest of the year. Then I know that. I'll just start eating again. So I started eating again, and then it turns out we may wrestle before the end of the year, and I'm like, oh well. God. So yeah, but I'm not super trying to like lose weight anymore. I'm not thinking about like weight. I'm just going by like how I look.
Aye.
And like you know how high my trunks go anyway. So like as long as my belly's in there and there's not too much of a muffin over the hanging, you know, it's fine.
I've always got the argument that's like, I've got a t-shirt and my shorts, and like it kind of fits my gimmick anyway, so I can be a fat bastard. It's fine. Yeah. As long as I'm not fucking dying.
Yeah, because like my character, especially when we did like the Filthy Generation and stuff, it was quite like grungy sort of like.
Aye.
And so it was like I can get away with wearing a cutoff. I can cover myself up. It doesn't matter. But now I'm like, right. I've not been wrestling for like 18 months. I want to come back topless.
Aye.
So I'm trying to like at least
look like a wrestler.
Well, I don't want like freaking 6-pack abs or whatever. Aye. I just want to look like I'm tough. But we did a photo shoot, some of us, like for Discovery,
Aye.
at the weekend, and it was like they had people going in at certain times because you don't want everyone just turning up at the same time because of like regulations and all that.
Aye.
So I'm going to tell you my group, and you tell me why I felt inadequate, right? Me, Caleb Valhalla, and Kuma. And I'm like, so not only, right, do I look fat next to Caleb, Kuma is like 7 foot tall. So now I'm short and fat. And I'm like, I tried on my trunks again. Like, I tried on my trunks again like a week ago or whatever, or 2 weeks ago, just to see how I was feeling. And I was like, this is bad. So I took them to town and I got like a seamstress to add 3 more inches to the waist. I think I managed to disguise it. I went topless, but I put on a denim vest, you know, so it was covering the sides, but you could still see my chest. So.
See, my shorts were snug before we stopped, so I tried to think how fucking snug they are now.
Well, I haven't tried on my stuff.
Trip to fucking Primark might be in order. Get you pair of shorts.
You never thought about going to like tights or anything?
Thought about it, and I thought, this is making it.
What tights that look like jeans?
Well, there is that.
Big stretchy tights.
Like I always thought, like I thought if I ever went fucking like singles, I would just go proper fucking full fucking heavy metal. I would just get fucking leather breaks.
Oh yeah.
And then just fucking studs and fucking spikes and leather and that.
Like that weird period of Crusher Crabe's life where he was in leather.
Aye, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's my idea if I ever go singles, which I've never been told to very.
I'm like
losing to break this up.
Yeah, I'm like super excited for one day when Archer goes singles again and he goes back to his like stripy yellow tights. His Bumblebee get up. I'm really excited for that.
He busted me for a gala one year. I was one gala he busted me just to pop the boys. I was like, yes, Archer.
Love it. I don't know what he was thinking when he got them.
Like they tried to get just you wear them for a laugh. I was like, I'll never fit in them, Archer. Come on, play the fucking game.
I mean, he was a wee bit bigger then, probably, because he lost a lot.
Aye, but he was.
But still,
aye,
no,
no chance.
I've got all my old gear sitting there. I found it in a box up at Sammy's mum's house. And it's like all my tie-dye gear and my swirly like flares and stuff from like my first year. I'll wear them one day. I'm gonna do the Kenny Omega thing where he's got like his cool like badass tights for like big shows, and then he's got his house show tights which are like pink swirly with tassels, and I'm like, that's gonna be my house show. That's my house show tights. That's like wrestling for like WrestleZone, and we're up in Keith, so like that's my Keith tights. That's what I get.
That was us, like any big show, Aberdeen show, black gear.
You had the black ones, yeah.
Black gear.
Do you remember when you got the black ones? Because you gave me the jackets to try and put the stuff on it. Yeah. That's another thing for that photo shoot yesterday. I went and looked at all my old ring jackets.
Aye.
I've got 15 ring jackets that I've made over the course of 10 years. Three of them fit me now. That was a crushing blow to my life.
Aye.
As I tried on every single one of them and they wouldn't go near me. Having to get people to peel them off me after them. That was bad.
Aye,
three of them fit me now. Luckily, it's the pretty cool ones, like the white one that I've got with the crown on the back.
Yeah,
that one
aye.
All right, that one fits me.
Aye, that was one of the Anarchy ones, was it?
Yeah,
aye.
That one fits me. And then I've got a red denim one that's got like a stripe of Zubaz print down the front like that. That fits me.
Nice.
The Zubaz jacket. But then like even the one that we had the leather jackets with like the tassels and stuff on them and the big shoulder pads. We wore them. We wore them when we wrestled Jews at Anarchy.
Yeah.
Like I wore that in my last match. Don't go near me now. I don't know what happened.
Fucking hell.
It doesn't even go near me. It'll fasten down at my belly. but it's like up here I've just broadened out, and I'm just like, no, I can't wear this.
Like, I'm sure there's a lot of folk in the same boat just now with their gears and they get a fit.
Yeah, I'm banking on that so I can get new gear designs. You know, get people to pay me for designs.
Raking it in.
Why? But no, it's just.
That's the thing. We were on set for getting new jackets in before fucking lockdown, and lockdown happened. It's like, well, let's fuck that then.
Yeah. Did Garrett get a jacket to match yours?
We got my prospect jacket. He's a prospect just now.
Oh yeah.
So he's got the fucking prospect badge in the front. He's got the bomb rocker on the back of the jacket. Prospect.
I remember that.
So he was.
Poor guy.
We had to kind of talk him into that. It's like
poor guy was almost a fully fledged member, and then the world went into lockdown.
Almost fully patched us in that prospect.
I always thought Crusher would have been great with the Rejected. He comes in as like the big boss.
Like there's
the
always
big boss of the gang.
There's always guys that I've had in mind. Like Nathan North was the first.
I was going to say Nathan North.
When he first started
I remember at training, everyone was like, he's going to be in the Rejected.
Aye.
I was like, probably. And then he cut his hair and turned up like,
aye.
You just ruined that, have you?
Aye, well. And then we had fucking Bradley in mind for a while. Like when he was like there was word of him being a tag team, and then he got thrown with dynamite. I was like, well,
yeah.
You do. And then I don't know if you ever met fucking young Connor Ingalls.
The one that was in the feud with Crusher.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Connor Ingalls.
Aye, we joked about him for a while just because he could like he's smaller than Archer, so he could just be Spike Dudley.
And he could be trying to be a biker, but he kind of just looks like he's in like Village People.
Yeah, basically. Like he would never fit in. Like
yeah, that would be great.
But yeah, like we toyed with that. Like toyed. Like it's me and Arthur speaking amongst ourselves, and then finally we pulled the trigger on Garrick. But like I said, there is like a couple other folk we've had like that.
But I think anyone who starts training and they've got long hair or a beard, it's like Rejected.
Yeah. There was one guy, one of the trainees that turned up like baldy guy, big fucking beard. I was like, if he fucking goes anywhere, he's with us. We're taking him.
Didn't stick in, did he?
Nah, he fucking lasted about 2 weeks. He's never been back.
There's so many guys like that where it's like they'll turn up and they look friggin' amazing. And you're like, please stay. You've got a great look, and then they're gone like 2 weeks later. Like
the other one was Caleb, but fucking Caleb's got the potential to go a lot further than we have. So like
he would have been all right in the Rejected, but I think he's got a lot more singles potential.
I can see he's got a lot of fucking motivation, and he's got to go a lot further than a lot of the other guys, I think. Yeah,
like he was at that photo shoot yesterday, and he was doing like promos and stuff, talking about like how he was coming to Discovery to like pillage and plunder. And I was like, all right. And we had a discussion about like how cool it would be to have like a big their big show, one of their big shows at like the Corn Exchange, right? And just get them like a WrestleMania mini ring, but it's like a Viking vessel.
A long ship.
Yeah, and he's standing on it while Wolf, and there's just trainees just pushing it down the aisle like that.
Basically, when they took Malice to the ring, it's Anarchy. But
that was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Because when they practiced it before the show, they fell down the stairs.
Aye.
I was like, see if that happens on the show, it'll be amazing because it's Malice and it's funny for the character, but Jesus.
What was that for again? I've completely forgotten.
Did he not? Was that not the year that Crusher came back and he was doing a promo and then Lord Malice interrupted and he just booted him? Just as like a...
possibly.
Or was that Lord Michael?
No, they would never have let Lord Michael do a promo. It must have been Malice.
I think it must have been Malice, yeah. Yeah, it must have been. Because I think that was one of the last things he did as Lord Malice before.
Yeah, before they knocked
Lord Michael became a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's.
I like that the Lord thing in WrestleZone is like, it's like the Venom symbiote. It just like takes over people.
I just passed on.
Yeah, that's good. There needs to be another Lord when they come back.
Yeah.
Who could be that? Could be like how you go singles. Archer becomes a Lord. Lord Archer.
Lord Archer, yeah.
And that's a good. You get the stripy yellow tights back then, right? And his little Lord outfit could be like all yellow and black stripes and stuff, and it's all regal. That'd be good.
That's Archer's next gimmick sorted.
Yeah, Lord Archer. Lord Christopher Archer.
Tremendous. That's add it to the pile of the other 100 gimmicks that the guys have thought of for Archer when he goes singles.
Oh yeah. My favorite ones were before he like was Chris Archer. Before he was on, he like had his first match, but we knew he had these stripy tights. And he was called Buzz Hornet at training.
Exactly where you were going with that before you even said it.
Buzz Hornet. And then the other one that I really like was when, for just an inexplicable reason, whenever we like, you know, when you're like at training and you're like pushing a gimmick on someone as they're like doing promos or wrestling. And it was just like Archer was like, I guess like the outfit, but before it was the outfit, he was like an old gangster and he was like, Chris Archer, see? And he had a sidekick who was like his goon, and he never existed, but he was called Legs. He's like, get him, Legs.
Yeah, I've never heard that one.
That was a thing for a little bit. Dino Del Monte would have been a good Legs.
Aye, he would have been. He's all legs.
Yeah. Chris Archer sitting there on like a wee chair in like a dark room, smoking like a cigar. Someone comes in and, you know, challenges him to a fight. He's like, get him, Legs. There's the Archer ladies man. That was a good one. Where he was like, there was nothing really that was Archer about it. It was just me and Scott pretending that there was like girls that were like his fanboys and like, oh, Archer.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, just and Archer's just like no sales at all. What's on your notes on your wee list?
I don't know. We've run through most of it, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I've got is like, I've got your design stuff, or I've got the Anarchy where you almost concussed me.
Was that the powerbomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't think that one through.
It was a good idea at the time.
It was a tremendous idea.
See if there was like half a foot more room at ringside.
Yeah. Perfect.
Because like I couldn't have hit you on that table more perfectly.
Aye.
It just so happened that there was a barrier right there as well.
Like, I remember turning up.
What was it? It was a powerbomb, but Lewis did a suicide dive and pushed you off my shoulders.
Well, I remember that day we turned up and we had some of the match put together. We had some ideas, whatever. Yeah. And I turned up and you were like, oh, what if we do this thing where like was it Garvin fucking Bandera me and you caught me in the fucking tombstone?
Yeah, because we've done a thing at ICW where I'd caught Kenny Williams off the apron into like a powerbomb, and Lewis did the suicide dive, and I powerbombed him into the crowd, like onto like security and whatever.
Aye.
And I was like, we could do that through a table, surely. And it sounded great, and it looked great, but if there was half a foot more room at ringside, that table could have been in the same position, but there just wouldn't have been a barrier there where your heat hit.
Yeah. Like, fuck, it was a plastic barrier. It was one of those fucking street things. If I'd been a metal barrier, I would have been
bright
fucked.
Orange ones, yeah.
But I remember folk asking me, like, afterwards, like, how was the table? Table was fine. Didn't feel the table. Felt the fucking barrier.
Yeah. That was bad.
Like, luckily, I didn't think I was concussed, but luckily enough, I didn't have to do anything for like the next 3 or 4 minutes. I just had to lie
you just
there.
You just had to lie down till the finish.
And Archer took the heat.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
And then Archer went through the announce table that they often talked about an announce table that everyone has heat over me with because they thought Billy Strachan and Kyle Watt and that little contingency on the balcony, they thought I'd won the titles.
See, that I had genuine heat with Billy up until that match. I was like he wrote the review for Anarchy, the review, like the preview even, like running up to it.
Yeah.
And he was running through the match as well, and he got to our match, and it was like, Kings of Cats, and I understand because you guys were his favourite wrestlers, whatever. It's like we were the champions at the fucking time, and we got a mention right at the fucking bottom. That was it. Like, the rejected the champions. Like, it's like, come on, fuck you, Billy. So we come out, and I couldn't even sitting in the balcony. So when we come out, you can if you watch back the footage, you can see me physically scanning the fucking balcony to see where he's sitting.
Yeah.
So when we won, like I climbed the buckle, the corner he was at, like raised the belt, like, fuck you.
Yeah, because like I thought that was a good wee swerve in the match where it's like, oh, they've won, but no.
No, it's
because I thought it was also I thought it was a good way of like just gauging like what how the crowd would react if we had one. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And it was kind of like it was a good mix of like adult men going yeah, and then kids going which I like, but then yeah. The people didn't like it. the people thought that it should have counted as a table.
Yes, the people did, but
I think I'd already because I don't know if you remember, like leading up the weeks leading up, I kept going to Dickie and being like, I need 6 tables.
Yes, can we get more? Can we get more tables? Can we get more?
Like, how many tables have we got? He's like, we've got 2 because you need to put 2 people through to win. I was like, I'm going to need 6 tables, please.
Yeah.
He's like, why? Well, because I want someone to go through one, and then I wanted to go through another one to save Lewis.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to do for one spot was like, you were going to put Lewis through a table, and I came off the top and put myself through it, but I've already been eliminated, so it doesn't count. Because I just wanted to it was in my head, we were the Hardys and you were the Dudleys, and it was Rumble 2000, you know what I mean? We're just like coming off balconies through tables and stuff.
Just insane.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. But we got how many tables did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe? 4?
4 would have been, because I went through the first one. We picked
and then I went through one.
Archer went through the house table.
Yeah.
And then we put Garvin through the last one. So we got 4.
So we got 4.
So
I mean,
it's an improvement on 2.
I mean, to be fair, it's like that's good bargaining. Because they gave us 2, I went 6, and they went 4. I was like, right.
I would come up with that. Yeah. I remember coming up, like you come up with the announce table spot, and me and Archer were like, it's like, who wants to take it? I looked at it, I was like, I could take that. And Archer was like, no, I'll take it. I mean, it's fine. And then looking back on it, after he took it, I was like, nah, I'm glad you took that one.
Yeah. The thing is, you would have probably taken it in a much more controlled and safe manner than he did.
Like the way he went through it, that's what made it look fucking scary. Just the way he went through it. Was like,
if you watch it, I barely go, and he's just like.
It's like he doesn't just do a front flip. He goes fucking sideways, and
he does like a half front flip side thing where he lands through that, and you're like, Archer, you could have just went front, or you could have actually, because I pushed your foot could have went first. You could have taken a nice back bump through it.
But no, they aren't
nice. Because then that was when the next match we had was the hardcore match at Halloween.
Aye.
And I was like, whoa, we've got to step up our game from this tables. And that's when we're like, powerbomb me out of the spines of chairs. Go.
I fucking remember that. Fucking forgotten all of that.
Yeah.
I looked at it, I was like, are you sure? No,
like,
I'll be fine. You're taking it. On you go.
And then the chair's kind of half crumbled and then just became solid. I was like, I'm going through it. Oh no, because you get halfway and you can feel them starting to collapse.
Aye.
But then they collapsed to a point where like the legs had bent and like wedged their way into the canvas. So they just all of a sudden halfway through the bump, they just became like solid. And I was like, oh no. And that's when you see me go, and like,
but it's like we almost impaled you. Like was that the run up? We did a like 6-man. It was you and Crusher and somebody.
I was watching that today.
And the table with the break.
I was in the car on the way to training, right? And I was talking about like, it was Alex Webb. We were talking about stuff, and it was like, he was going on about like how I've done death matches and stuff and whatever. And then we got on to like different things, and I was like, have I ever told you about when I almost died going through a table? And he was like, no. So I showed him the footage, and he was like, because the thing is, like, I don't know why the table didn't break.
It was like 3 attempts or something.
The first one, I watched it today, so I know exactly what freaking happened. Archer gave me a side effect off the top.
Yeah.
And the table did not budge. Right? you know the bottom of the legs? The legs go straight, and then there's like the crossbar, and then there's a wee hook. Like
yeah.
So we came down on this table with this side effect off the top, and the little hook feet just went whoop, and that was it.
Yeah.
The table didn't even budge. So I'm lying there, and I'm like, well, that was maybe the finish. What am I going to do? So I was like, Archer, bail me through this table. Archer, put it in the corner, bail me through this table. And he bailed me through it, and it went and cracked a little bit on a corner, and they just went ding, ding, ding. That's it, it's over. And I'm lying there, and I'm like, I am not happy with this.
Yeah, it needs to break.
Yeah, so I went to the ref, and I'm like, tell them to put me through it again. So Archer sets it up again, and I watched it back, and it's funny because like you just pinball me about, right? So like I take a punch from Archer, and then I sell to you, and you've clued up on what's happening. And I sell to you, and I'm just like this, and I go, hit me, and you're like, oh. you give me the, like, I sell up, and I'm literally looking at you for like 3 seconds, and you're just like, as if like
the match is over.
As if like what are you trying to say to me here? Like, you know, like the way you, like if a dog or something comes up to you and it's just like looking at you like this, right? It was as if I was like the dog and you're like, what are you wanting? What's going on? Right? And then you give me the punch. And then Tucker gives me the punch because he's now clued up because he's watched you do that.
I'd be visibly confused.
Yeah. And then Archer throws me through it again. Now at the time, I just hit it and I heard it crack a little bit and I was still annoyed because I didn't go through it. And then Tucker came over and he goes, are you all right? And I was like, put me through it again. He goes, that's not happening. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I was just annoyed because I thought, in that moment, I thought he was just like, it's fine. Just leave it.
That's enough. It's take a break.
Yeah, but because I thought that's what he was meaning, I was like, no, I'm breaking this table. Right, I was ready to like become Sabu and just jump myself through it. And then I rolled off the table and I looked over and the fucking legs through the table and I was like, what the? And then I looked down and I've just got this perfect like circle cut where it's just starting to bleed and I'm like, oh my god.
Like it was a good 4 or 5 inches through the fucking table.
It was like, yeah. Like how, like, I think if I'd have went into it with more force, the leg, because obviously the feet are like hollow.
Aye. Right,
the legs are hollow, so it just like gave me a quick like circle cut. But see if I'd hit that harder, that could have took out like a chunk or something. You just had this leg of the chair with like a chunk of flesh in it. But then I was also thinking like if I'd have, because Archer kind of just threw me into it head first, so I just kind of rolled on it. See if I'd have took a flip into that. I would have stuck right in my back or something.
Just impaled.
I would have been. But I was just like, because I remember when that match got booked, and it was like, oh, we're doing a six-man tables match.
It was a weird one.
Yeah?
It was a weird one. It was like...
Yeah, because it was like, one person has to go to the table. But it wasn't, that's not how it was said to me. How it was said to me was, I went, oh, okay. have we got enough tables for that? And they're like, oh no, it's just you that's going through a table. And I was like, all right. It's like we're doing a 6-man tables match. Only one person needs to go through to lose. Oh, okay, it's you. Oh, all right. Wasn't even asked. Just yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, they knew I was damned fine with it, but it was just the way it was like, aye, you're going through. Oh, okay. And then we had the as I say, we had the like street fight thing at Halloween, the Halloween brawl.
Yeah, the Halloween brawl.
That was fun.
Me and Archer always seem to get Halloween brawl or Christmas brawl, or we always seem to end up with them.
I don't think I've done a Christmas brawl. I've done the Halloween one. That was fun though.
I
bowling balled a pumpkin and Archer's Willie.
Yeah, I watched that back not long ago. I was like, that's fine. And then Gavin picks it up and just fucking launches it straight at him. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just killing him. Like it was the whole day. It was just a fucking solid pumpkin.
I thought it had been carved out, but it hadn't. But it was the bit where I thought we had like gravestones. And I was going to do the miss, hit the rope, and it would bounce in my face. But it's just like the ropes just shattered it in my hands. It's a bit where I powerbomb Archer into the wooden board in the corner.
Aye, that's
almost launched him out of the ring.
Aye, like I think I was outside at this point, and I watched that. I was like, he's dead.
Like I threw him from like the middle of the ring, thinking he'll just hit it, but you forget how light he is. So like I threw him from the middle of the ring, and if the board wasn't there, he's out. Like I was looking for it to watch it. I couldn't find footage of it.
I watched it. I'm sure I watched it not long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't find it anyway, but I was like, yeah. I just remember that powerbomb just launching Archer. The pumpkin, a tombstone shattering in my hand, and then getting powerbombed on 2 chairs.
Yeah, it was just it was something.
It was fun. I enjoyed it because, like, I think it was one of those ones where everyone turned up with ideas, and it was just the match went together like super easy.
Aye,
and it was just a laugh because it was just stupid.
I love like
that was the first time you were face paint as well because you were trying to be spooky.
Yeah, I thought I'll try and do something, and I've kept like some of the guys says, "Aye, that suits the gimmicks." I was like, "Well, I'm just keeping it now."
Yeah, you go like full corpse paint sometimes, though, don't you?
Aye, big shows. Big shows, full.
When big shows in attendance, yeah.
Yeah, like we did one at Christmas Chaos. Like I said, when I was getting the singles push, I was in a 4-way for the Tri-Counties. I was like, "Aye, corpse paint, that's happening."
Yeah.
And I
used to paint Walter's face with like corpse paint and stuff sometimes.
Like he was the one I went to like
to make sure it was okay.
Aye, I didn't want to try them. I was like, "What? Look, I'm thinking of doing this." Like even the Halloween show you were speaking about, like when I just did the fucking like the Thrasher thing, just did lines.
Oh, was that what it was? I always thought it was Raven.
That's what it turned into.
Because Raven used to do that as well. Did you know?
No, if you look at the evolution, like the first one was just like the big Thrasher triangles, and it's evolved into just the lines and the fucking the bits at the sides, and
yeah,
it looks more Raven now. But yeah, but even that one, I went to Walter first and says, "Look, I'm thinking of doing face paint. Like this, I can use the face paint is your thing." And he was like, "Nah, it's I only need for Anarchy, and it only was getting really fucking big." I was like, "All right, okay, fine."
There was a while where there was loads of folk doing paint.
Well, Garrick was doing it for a while, and then he
Garrick
dropped it. He dropped it when he joined us.
Green stuff.
Aye,
he did the green, and then Dave P had like the Scotland stuff.
He's still doing that. That makes sense for his gimmick. He's still doing like the Braveheart thing, and then Bradley Evans started doing it. Yeah, like before I say, Bradley, fuck off. That's my fucking gimmick now. Beat that.
The thing is, like for the other two, it's different enough. But like you and Bradley, if you really think about it, you for like kids in the crowd and stuff, you've probably got quite a similar look. You're like both like big kind of broad guys with like longish hair and stuff, and they're like, "Can we paint?"
There was one show we did. Was it Huntley?
Did he wear paint? Did he wear paint when he went against you? And you had paint. Did you have a paint off?
He did it at Halloween. The 6-man we had at Halloween. he did it there.
I'm
sure that was the first time he did it.
And you were like, I'm the one that starts wearing paint at Halloween, all right?
But yeah, like we did. There was one show we did it. I want to say it was Huntley. I was meeting Ryan Riley before he turned heel. Like he was doing that the Kurt Angle kind of thing. So he was a face, but he was like
he's being so much of a face that they want him to turn heel. Yeah.
But basically, like he was a face that night, and I was meant to be. Right, I was a face that night, and he was meant to be. He was getting to be working heel, but very subtly. And he came out and looked back and I was like, he's there with his fucking proper fucking singlet and looked like a wrestler, and I came out just looking like fucking face mask, fucking face paint, black.
Like, that was always
I should have been the heel.
Yeah.
I should have just fucking called it in the ring like Hogan fucking at WrestleMania. Like, I'll just part heel this night.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with me. Like when places are like, yeah, we want you to be a babyface, and they'll stick me in with like slim guy, clean shaven and kick pads, and I'm like, I mean, who's the heel here?
Just let him be the face.
It's like, come on, this is like a wee clean shaven, like in shape guy with abs, and he's got nice gear and kick pads and stuff, and I'm here looking like big, fat and hairy. Come on, like, let me just be the bad guy. How am I going to get them to cheer me?
Aye, like you say, it's all right with like the crowds. Like if we're in Aberdeen, it's fine. Like you got the regulars there.
They know, yeah.
And the rest of the crowd calling on, this is a good guy. But if you're out fucking Huntley or Keith or back and beyond
it can sometimes be like,
okay,
yeah,
we're working for it now.
Aye, I mean, luckily, like the majority of the time, until we did like the King's stuff with you guys, like I've only ever been a heel at WrestleZone, so
that
was easy. But like then I was one of those cases where like I'd been a heel for so long, the crowd just started to be like, "Oh, he's a dick, but he's our dick. He's all right."
That was like when we were in the three-way. It was like I was us. We were meant to be the faces, and then I was you guys as the Kings. It was like, well, these guys are cheering them because they fucking cheer them, and then looking Sharp and Krieger, you think they're cheering them just because they're entertaining as fuck. So it's like basically
I felt so bad. Like we're in the ring, especially like right at the beginning of the match. And it's like some of the crowd's going mental for us, and some of the crowd are going mental for them. And I'm like, these boys are like, they're here. Give them something, please. I felt so bad. But like, did you not use one? No, was it you on that match?
Yeah,
that was when
we double rolled up.
You won the belt.
Aye.
I remember at the end, you at least got like some sort of reaction. And I was like, thank you. Please be nice to these people. Like it was one of those ones where like when I'm like making the graphic for the match and I'm like, this is just unfair. Like it's unfair for like Archer and Vago because they're meant to be the baby faces, and technically all four of us were heels at that time. And it's like, oh, I feel bad.
Like I said, like you guys were getting cheered for just being the Kings, and then they were getting cheered because they were fucking just entertaining as fuck. It's like, it's what it is.
You can't. Yeah, I think that's the problem sometimes. Like, you get a heel and the bit they're just like super funny or something.
Aye.
And there's nothing you can do.
It's like
you're just like I can't compete with this.
It's like fighting Alan Sterling. Like he's supposed to be a heel.
I've never once wrestled Alan.
Like
singles, tag, nothing.
Like we wrestled. We were in a feud with him, but he was like Sterling also. He was Skinny Alan, so that was fine. And then he came back. It's like when I first came in, he was Lord Alan Sterling. I never faced him then. And then he's got this fucking Captain Alan Sterling just now.
Yeah.
And it's fucking tremendous. And like we were in the 4-way with him when he won the belt, the Tri-Counties. And then the last match I had was against him at the Academy show. And it was like the match isn't dated well because like we made joke of the fucking coronavirus, and like the finish was I coughed on him. Like it can never be shown anywhere again.
No.
But yeah, like he was on that night. It was like it's hard work trying to be the face against that.
Because there's not a lot you can do as a baby face when the crowd are like enjoying what they're doing so much.
Because you just like even every match is like you said, the Captain Al, like you see guys backstage at the monitor. And he just
that was the same when he was mixed martial Allen, or when he was Lord Allen, or he's just fantastic.
When he's got that kind of gimmick.
There's genuinely been like a lot of I've had people who are like big names like now, like working elsewhere and stuff, be like, Alan Sterling's one of my favourite wrestlers. And I'm like,
oh,
that's amazing.
It would have been probably before we got shut down. The Summer Hill show that year. He was in the ring, he was fighting Joe Henry.
Yeah.
And Joe Henry says, "What do you do?" And Alan just kind of looked at him like I miss a cent on off the top.
Amazing. But yeah, I've had loads of people like guys that they've brought in for a couple of shows or whatever.
Aye.
And they maybe not even wrestled Alan, but they've just watched his match.
Aye.
And they've just been like, he's one of my favourite wrestlers. So it's like it's amazing, like how
fucking tremendous.
Yeah. What a guy. I've never wrestled him though.
No.
Like not even a tag match, nothing. Because we've always been heels at the same time. And it's just never happened. Like
even at a gala. Like there must be some gala you'd be thrown against a tag team show,
I've never wrestled Alan.
Fucking hell.
Not once. I've wrestled William Sterling one time. And that was at a gala at Union Square, where it was very cold, and we just worked a match around like it being cold. He kept putting on more layers of clothes, and that was it. That was literally that's the only time I've wrestled him. I think I've wrestled pretty much everyone else.
See, like I mark it on, like a lot of the time I mark it on singles if I've missed wrestling my singles. Or like I've wrestled I've never wrestled Damien in a singles. Never. Not once, even in a gala. Like I've had
one. It was that Montrose main event, the title match, but that's the only time I've wrestled him.
Like I've been in, I'm sure it was a 10-man we had at Rumble one year, and we had a 6-man, and I wasn't even in the ring with him. Like we were in the ring set. So like I've never even fucking touched Damien in the ring.
Was I not in that match as well? Or was that? I was in a 10-man or an 8-man before a Rumble, and Scott was wearing an Aberdeen t-shirt, and Bill was in it, and
no, that was before. If he's wearing an Aberdeen shirt, it was before my time. I'm hearing about that. That was before my time. The one we had was Sterling Oil and Looking Sharp, and it was I was me and Archer, Grado. 1, 2, 3.
Did that match have Lord Mr. Malice in it?
No.
Was that the one where?
That's a different one you're thinking on.
The one where he gave Looking Sharp a little wee crown as well.
I know that was Malice, Looking Sharp, and was it Andy Wilde against?
Oh, when Andy was doing
Sir Andrew Wilde.
Andrew, yeah.
Aye, but no, the one we had, I was me, Archer, Grado, Jimbo.
Right.
There was somebody else. I can't remember who the 5th man was, but there was 5 of us against Poor Sterling Oil and Looking Sharp, and it was not a great match.
Just they're all those, any match. It doesn't matter who's in it. If there's a 10-man or an 8-man tag, it's a shambles.
Aye,
it doesn't matter who's in it. It's a shambles every time.
Aye, it's.
But, no, I'm trying to think who I like. As you say, like I would more so count singles match as I've wrestled them, but like a tag match, I've at least been in the ring with people.
If it's a straight tag match, then fine. But if it's any like it's a 6-man or an 8-man,
yeah. But no, like I don't even think I've been involved in a match where Alan's on my team. I don't think I've been in a ring with Alan for him to even attempt to break me. I mean, he would, but I've never been there. I want, if I like this, I was doing like the other day thinking about like who I want to like work with coming back after like, coming back to wrestling or whatever. If I want coming out of WrestleZone, like I want to wrestle Alan.
Yeah. Which
is probably an issue because I want to be a heel, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I want to wrestle Alan. I want to wrestle Caleb.
Oh, you got a tag match in against Alan and Caleb. Knocked two with one stone.
There you go. I'd like to have another match with Damien, another match with Dynamite.
Aye.
Because I think Dynamite I've wrestled loads, but I think like
he's on a different level now.
Yeah, with the stuff he's doing, I haven't wrestled him in years. And it could be a cool dynamic if he was the heel and I was like playing more the babyface for the thing. Because anytime we've wrestled, I've been the heel. Damien, I've only wrestled once, so I'd like to see what else we can do. But yeah, my dream is now. My dreams in wrestling change, but my dream right this minute is me as a heel, big bad heel, against big babyface Scotty Swift for the WrestleZone title at the main event of Anarchy. That's my dream right now. Because I've wrestled Scott a few times, but not like loads. And I've never really had like any sort of feud or like big match or anything.
Saying that, he's another one I think I've only had one singles match with Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't really a heel for that long, were you? Before you became babyface.
2 years.
Yeah.
I come in the first year. We won the titles towards the end of that first year. We lost them a bit.
I mean, you debuted at the Cloverleaf, did you? You had a wee run in. You had a wee slide in the low ring.
Aye, slide in the ring. Aye, that was my debut.
Because I remember that. I remember like watching, and I'm sure I might be misremembering, but I remember you did a run in, but like you did that classic wrestler run in, slide it to the ring, but it was on a low set, so you just like slid it up.
Yeah,
yeah, because you'd only been training like 5-6 months.
Well, I started like 2 or 3 weeks after Anarchy, 2014, so that would have been like fucking June.
Yeah.
I was there till my first kid was born end October. So I was like middle October I stopped. She was in hospital. I came back like a week before Christmas. And they told me, you're debuting at Summer Hill. It's Cloverleaf.
So actively at training like 5 months maybe.
Give or take, yeah.
That's basically mental. Because I remember thinking at the time, like, he's got like potential, but there's no way he is ready for this.
Like looking back,
I thought they were just going to give you matches the right way, but you were mostly like with Archer, like, you know, at ringside, or, you know, if he did a tag match, it was mostly him or whatever, which was fine. It kind of helped ease you in, but I was just like, what? I trained for 12 months before my first match, and I don't think I was ready.
Like I was never ready. Like first, like I did that first run in at Cloverleaf. I had a singles against William Sterling, a single against
which is easy.
Single against Blue Thunder and Peter Reed. I think was it a tag or was the Rumble first? In fact, it might be in the Rumble first. We did a 6-man in the Rumble. It was me, Archer, and Johnny Lyons against the Thunder Buddies in Grado. So this is like my third match. I'm in the fucking ring with Grado. We had a tag match at West Hill. I did Union Square like fucking 12 matches that fucking day. And then I was at Anarchy. Anarchy's 6-man against Devon.
Let's go back to that, right? That day where like we're gonna do a little gala at Union Square. Who's available? Blah blah blah. Turn up on the day. There's 2 heels. There's me and you. And I'm like, shite. We both wrestled like 10 matches. And there was like because I was either in a singles or a 3-way or our tag match, or if Sammy had a match, they just sent me out to manager as well.
Well, Archer was there because I'm sure it was like 16 matches that day, and I was in like 10 of the 12, 10, 11, 12 of them.
I was in like, I'm sure I was in like 9 or 10 of them as well. And then the last one, it was like, I've been out for like 8 matches. I've been a manager for 2 matches. And they're like, you're going out for a battle royal? And I'm like, oh, God.
Aye. But yeah, there was that. And then like, Anarchy, I was in a 6-man with Devon Dudley. And at this point, I'm like 6 matches in, 6 proper shows. I was like, holy fuck.
Like, I don't know if I would have handled that. Like, the first like big like import anyway that I wrestled was Jim Duggan.
Aye, Uncle Jim.
And that was like a year and a half of me being on shows.
Aye.
So, but before that, I'd wrestled Noam, which lest we talk about again. And before that, the first guy I wrestled that wasn't anything to do with WrestleZone, like was a brought in guy, was Liam Thompson.
Right, okay.
I wrestled him at Stonehaven, and it was like, I was shitting it for that, because I'm like, oh my God, it's Liam Thompson. But see if I was probably 6-7 matches in, and I had a match with Liam Thompson, and I was crapping it.
Like,
so if I can't imagine being in there with like Devon Dudley 6 matches in, because even like a year and a half, and I was in with Jim Duggan, I was like, oh.
It wasn't too bad with Devon, because like you said, I was only 6 matches in, so I didn't ken that kind of pressure. I was like, it's just
you didn't know the magnitude of what was happening.
It's like the following year, like I was in with like Hurricane Carlito.
They just shoved you with everyone.
And Bull. I was like 6 man. I was like, oh. So like,
what happened? I still don't understand what happened there, because I got the card to do the matches, and I was like, why are all these imports in one match?
I don't know. like generally, like I thought they were just taking the piss with Devon the year before, and then they told me, you're getting 3 to 4 imports this year. I was like, get fucked, fuck off, no fucking chance. No, seriously. Like,
I was just like,
why?
Yeah, because it blew my mind when I got the card, and I was like, the rejected are just getting all the imports. What's going on?
It was like that came a running joke for a while between me and Scotty. Like I was like I was just imports only, Mickey Vigo.
Yeah. You should if you go singles at any point, that should be your gimmick. You should be like the import killer, and then every big show they bring someone in, you just beat them.
See, that was the thing. I tried to push it that we beat that fucking, like we lost to Carlito and Hurricane that year. I pushed the fucking, like we could win that, and just me and Archie could live off that as heels for like another year.
You did like the streak thing, didn't you? It was like
the greatest streak in wrestling history, like 1-0. Like we won. But yeah, as I pushed it,
that was like when Luke King Sharp was like an unofficial member of the Rejected for a bit, wasn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
But then you can see it like the following year we came back, like we turned face at this point. We're fighting Sterling Oil. And
that was the hair match,
the hair match, and you could see the confidence was there, because I was the wrestling imports, I was wrestling some Lorraine guys, and
like I found that as well. Like I used to like really stress about wrestling, like people who either they were or I perceived them as being better than me. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Like when it was like Noam or whatever, or like even when like I wrestled Scott and stuff, I'd like stress about it.
Aye.
But then like I would go and have a match with like Archer or Dan or like new trainee number 3 who's just got on shows or whatever, and I'd be like totally chilled about it.
Aye.
Because I'm like, they're on my level. It's fine. I don't need to worry. But then if someone's better than me, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck up and I'm gonna get shit.
It's not even better. It's just more experience. This, like, you think.
They've
been there long. They've been doing it longer, so they must be better.
So I'm like, oh fuck.
Aye.
But then now, as I say, like I've got to the point where I'm just like, I'm actively just like, you know what? Just don't worry about it. Like, there's no point in worrying about it. It doesn't matter like how long they've been doing it or whatever. They're in the same boat as you. You're going in. Someone, maybe you don't know them. Your first time you've met them, but you've got to just do it. I feel much easier within wrestling, like the past maybe like 4 or 5 years compared to like 10 years ago when I was like starting, and I was like, God, this is terrifying. Yeah. But that's the thing, like going back when I've not done anything. Like I tried to have a match at training and I had like a 5-minute match and I've just got no confidence in anything I'm doing. And I'm like, am I going to be okay? But then I feel like doing it in training, I'm like, I've got no confidence in this. I don't think I can do this. And then we did that photo shoot yesterday, and it's the first time I've like fully like all gear on, entrance gear on,
full gear.
I've like wet my hair and everything. And I've like put on this rubbish fake tan, and I'm like, that's the first time in like 18 months that I've not felt like Lou. I felt like I'm Aspen Faith. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And I'm getting photos taken. And I'm like, I'm okay. I can do this. And it was just that's kind of what I needed to like just get all my gear on, get into the mindset of like I'm a wrestler again. You know what I mean?
Aye, that's like all it like. I say like guys will probably feel like this up until the first show.
Yeah.
Until they get back in front of a crowd, and once you go through the curtain, it'll be fine. It'll just be like you've never fucking left.
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point. It's a problem.
Aye. That's gonna be the worst though. Like waiting to go through the curtain, like because normally. I was saying this to Dynamite the other week. Like every match I've ever had, right? We plan stuff backstage, whatever. We talk it over. I know what I'm doing, right? As soon as I walk through the curtain, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Aye.
And then everything just comes to me as it's the time for it. So it's like I'd go out for like a tag match or something, and we'd come out and I've got no idea what I'm doing now. I'm standing on the apron and Lewis has now forgot the shine. He's like, what's this first bit? I'm like, I have no idea. Just wait until I lock up and I will find out. I can't tell you what we're doing because I have no idea. It's like
long as your
like
match makes
subconscious.
sense. As long as it makes sense. Like as soon as you do the first thing, everything else will follow and you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost like I know exactly what I'm doing behind the curtain. As soon as I walk out the curtain, it's like it just goes like subliminal. And it just comes to me as I'm doing it. I don't know. I'm a freak.
That's the best way though. It's like me thinking about it, because then
it seems more real because it's more natural. Yeah.
You're not thinking about what's coming next or whatever. It's like
because I used to do that. You could tell when I'm thinking about what's next. Because I used to do like.
You can tell when anybody's doing it. You can look at it.
I used to do like. I'd have someone in like a rope or something or in a corner. And I'm not, like you see like people calling in the corner or whatever.
Aye.
It's not that, but I'm just like, I'm trying to remember what's next. So I'm just throwing these like the worst elbows while I'm thinking. My forearms are really good. Boom, boom. And then I forget what's happening. I'm trying to remember what's happening. I'm just like, And if you watch like the first like 2 years of my matches, it's like, he's trying to remember what's next.
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's just got to take to get that first show back through the curtain. And it'll be fine again, but you never left.
Yeah. It's just figuring out when that is.
Well, hopefully before the end of the year, but we can only hope.
By the sounds of it, like a lot of places are thinking like October, November, which is good. They're not rushing straight into it. You know what I mean?
There is folk that are. It's like, the fuck you play?
I'm well aware of that. There's people very, very nearby here who are like, In
fact, there's one show already fucking happened. As we record this, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, but that was a show that was like Monday. Contact was allowed again. Monday evening. We're having a show next week. All right.
Yes. But like it's SWE. They were at it. Like,
well, yeah.
Chances are they were at it through fucking lockdown.
Now, so we're doing a show next week. Great, whatever. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to get annoyed about it, right? But then it's like, why is the one thing you advertise for the show the one thing you shouldn't have? The only thing that they posted a graphic of that advertised for the show was the heel reel with Braveheart.
It's all right. He's in the committee anyway. It's fine. He's in the committee.
Like after like last year and all the stuff that was said about him and stuff, right? And the fact that it was like, oh, he's not part of management anymore. Why is he the only thing you advertise for your last minute show?
That's the thing. That if you notice, the poster says tickets on the door, sale on the door. They've sold out beforehand. It's like,
that makes no sense.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Part of me was like, I'm just going to turn up, see what they do. What's the worst they can do?
I thought about it because it was in Forfar, which is only, what is it, like fucking 15 minutes from where I live?
Yeah.
15 minutes from the throws. I thought about it like, nah. I had my job that night. I was like, nah.
I'd got a message, right? And now we're getting like insidery and stuff, you know what I mean? I got a message asking, like, if I what? was available for a booking. Not for this show, but for at some point in the future. And what would be my wage or whatever. And I was like, I don't know how to reply to this. Like, I can go one of two ways, right? I either go, no thank you, because
Aye.
I can't be bothered with the eternal heat that I will have. Or I can go, right, I'll do it, but I want a 7-show run. I want 6 matches against former champions, and then the 7th show I want to be inducted at your Hall of Fame. And then give them like a big wage. This is
well, to be fair, they inducted Felix Fortune, so let's be honest, it's the end.
That's what I was going to say. Like I reckon I could 7 shows in, I could be in the Hall of Fame. I only go in and wrestle former champs, right? With a big inflated wage, and then 7th show, I get inducted at the Hall of Fame.
Did he already message you like a while ago, and he'd already blocked you?
So he blocked me on my.
I vaguely remember something with this.
My main account. I was away to say he blocked me on my shoot account, but that sounds stupid. That was like the other day when I was speaking to Caleb and we were going on about how he should walk a wolf to the ring, and he was like, "I could get like a stuffed wolf," and I was like, "Nah, like a shoot wolf. You want a shoot wolf?"
I'm not one of them shoot wolves, eh?
Yeah, shoot wolf. But no, like David blocked me on my like shoot page, and was basically like, it was because I'd commented on like an SW post or something and asked why they're like they had a Hell for Lycra poster up, and the only people on the poster were the imports, and I was like, why are you not advertising the people who are like there for you every single show?
Aye.
You know? And I got blocked. So I got blocked from posting on the SW page as well. Funnily enough, they blocked me from posting on it, but not from posting videos. So I was going to start like video replying to everything. But thought better of it.
Yeah, it's a bit much work.
Yeah, but so I got a message through my like page on Facebook being like, you know, like we'd like to work with you or whatever, blah blah blah. But I couldn't reply to it because he blocked me on my real page, which I'm because see, if there was like more than one person as like an admin on my page,
Aye.
Someone else could have replied to it, but it's just me, so I couldn't reply. So well, I don't know what you want me to do. So I don't know if you would have seen this. I don't know if this was after you'd started or not. But I wrote like a full like Microsoft Word page reply and posted it publicly on Facebook and said someone send it to him because I can't reply. With me basically being like, look, I'm not gonna work because you blocked me and I physically couldn't even reply if I wanted to, blah blah blah, and all this whatever. And I brought up the fact that he said he started 80% of Scottish wrestling, and I was like, if you actually look at it, WrestleZone and Discovery and like Reckless and anywhere else that had started off working with you has done infinitely better since they stopped working with you. But I did this big long thing, and obviously it got back to him because like the next day he sent another message to my like page replying to it, and then he at the end of it he's like, so maybe this time you can reply to me in private like a man and sort it out with me instead of making this stuff public. And I'm like, I can't reply to you. Like you have me blocked. What do you want
me
me
to do? Channel first. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Like you've got me blocked. I can't reply. So what do you want me to do? So I just never replied again. And then one of the other guys who is no longer there because of Chris Hansen to Catch a Predator type deals. He messaged me on Twitter and gave me this big long thing apologizing for Dave blocking me and all this, and I was like, all right, whatever. Because I think at the same time they'd posted up something about like a women's division again or something.
Aye.
Someone had commented on it. Oh, something about blah blah blah, like Sami Zayn and Debbie Sharp, and I'd replied to it as well. And then SW replied to that going, who? And I was like, maybe the people who were your original women's division that built your whole women's division around, yeah. And that they, I got that big message about that as well, and I was just like, I can't be done with this.
Done with it.
Yeah. At one point, I was like, I've had like messages multiple times asking if I wanted a booking and stuff, and I always write out like silly replies like, yes, but only if I can become the new leader of the GWO and stuff like that. But I never send it because I'm like, I can't be bothered with the argument.
Aye.
But yeah, that was like literally within the last few weeks. Again, it's like, we'd like to work with you, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, or I had like that guru ask me to come on his podcast.
All right, okay.
And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think it is anymore. Because he did the last few episodes with Dave Lowe and it just like imploded.
He was like, I'm done with wrestling. Here's my new podcast. And now I've got Braveheart on.
Yeah, and now he's back with SW again. But he'd asked me to be on it, and I didn't reply because, again, I was like, I don't want to get into this because I'm going to have to turn you down. But before I again typed a message and then got told not to send it because I was like, I will do your podcast if you quit the SWE. I just didn't, you know what I mean? But I never replied because I don't know how to get into any of these conversations with like, I'm not going to work for you because of like, not because I have any heat with you, because of the shit that happened in the past with like the WrestleZone guys, and I don't want to have heat with them, and I don't want to have heat online.
It's like there's a reason they've got the reputation they've got. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out of thin air. It's like they've spent years cultivating this reputation they've got. It's like you can't fit. Yeah. Like I've never met any of the SWE guys.
Like, I've met a few like at different shows and stuff.
Like all the decent ones have jumped ship. Like you look at the fucking
Jack.
Look at the fucking
Jack
roster
Morris.
Now. It's just fucking the shite arses that were there before, plus kids.
Well, that's the thing is like if you look like people who companies that used to work with them are doing much better now that they've got nothing to do with them. People who used to train there, as I say, like Big Jack Morris, like Air Miles.
Did he start there? Did he? I didn't realise he started there.
Yeah, like they're all doing much better now that they're not there. It's like surely that just shows you the pattern. Like
the best one I ever seen was it like an end of year awards thing or something, and Chaz Phoenix was in the ring, saying that they've got this reputation for being the clown shoes of fucking Scottish wrestling, and
because they wore that.
Every clown needs his shoes. Is like, oh shit! Like you've said it with conviction, but at the end of the day, you're still fucking clowns. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they wore that with pride for a while. That clown shoes thing.
It's like. Like I said, I've never met any of these guys or any guys who work there. Or
like as I say, the only ones that I've met, the only ones that I've met are like the guys that left,
or the guys that have got.
Yeah, or like guys that work for like other places like WCL, like you get like Luke Aldridge and stuff. They work for other places, and like I'm fine with it, like them. I don't have any heat with any of them that's worked there. Like it's just I can't be bothered with getting heat from other people.
I mind fucking
working there.
Looking sharp. I was one show we worked, and he come up. He says, "I'm working with SWE, getting whatever." And the guys, obviously, the guys in the wrestling, the guys that had been there, warned him off. It was like, I just want to work as. And this when he was just getting going. I just want to work as many places as I can. And he came back the next show. He says, "Never again."
There you go. I mean, that says everything.
Like one show was all it took. Because like, nah, Nick, I'm back.
My favorite Dave Lowe story is one where they were at a show, and it was like a winter winter's day, and it was all like icy and snowy outside, and his car started to like go into like black ice or something, and God lifted his car over the ice and protected him, and that's why he's a born again Christian. Convenient that he became that just after DiBiase became a.
That's what I say. It was not if he was fucking DiBiase coming in and being
the
owner.
No, it's also funny that he used to be Bret Hart. You know, he used to wear Bret Hart's gear and all that.
He trained in Dungeon. You can that. You trained in Dungeon.
No, he fucking stood outside it for 10 minutes and took a photo. No, like he used to be Bret Hart and dress like him and do all that Bret Hart stuff, and then he booked Bret Hart, and Bret Hart fucking called him out on his piss, and then all of a sudden he's now Roddy Piper, and he's got a kill. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild.
Ugh.
Like I said, there's a reason they've got the reputation they have, and it's
yeah. I don't even know how we got onto this, how we went down this road.
But at this point, I am bursting for a fish, and we've been going over 2 hours. So I'm going to wrap it up by, I've got one question that I ask everybody, and I don't know how much of a big music guy you are, but because this is the Mosh Pit, and we like the fantasy book, I'm going to ask you, what's your dream gig? So you've got 3 bands, you've got an opener, a mid-card, and a headliner. It could be broken up, dead, whatever you like.
Okay. It's going to be an eclectic gig.
If it's as eclectic as Dino Del Monte's, I'll be impressed.
All right.
Because I'm sure he was BTS, the Rat Pack, and I can't remember who his headliner was. It was someone else, but yeah, it was all over the place.
So my opener,
right,
to kick off the show and get people like fucking hyped, I'm gonna have Bring Me the Horizon.
Right. Okay.
Right. I'll have them. They'll come out and they'll do some of their they'll do some of the cool songs that I've used in like promo packages for matches and shit. Right. And they'll do like that Shadow Moses song that they based off of Metal Gear Solid. We'll get that good one. Right? And then just as like a wee interlude in the middle, so I get 3 bands. Yeah.
3 bands. You got an opener, a mid card, and a headliner.
But this one. So you're gonna fucking hate this, but I've fucking loved this band since I was like fucking 10, right? So I'm gonna have the Rasmus.
Right, okay. I can go with that. They're just like the Hen rip-off. Let's be honest.
Essentially, they're from the same country. You know what I mean?
No, like, I can deal with them.
Like they're like, when they became famous over here for like In the Shadows and stuff, right?
Yeah,
they were like a hymn rip-off. But see all their albums before that, the boys got like blonde hair and they're like little like pop punk kids and stuff, and then they couldn't like make it anywhere else, so they became like these goths.
I can't say I've ever done a deep dive into Erasmus, but yeah,
I've got every album sitting on my Apple Music, but yeah, that's my wee interlude in the middle, right?
Right, okay.
And then my main event, headliner, as they say in the music world, I'm gonna have the Highwaymen.
Right, okay.
So that's the outlaw country supergroup.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
So it's Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings.
I can get behind that, yeah.
Those fucking so you're gonna have like some cool like emo hardcore music right at the beginning. You're gonna bring it down into like slow like pop punk goth territory, and then you're gonna like bring it back up when all these like old geezers come out and start talking about being cowboys and stuff. That's my gig.
Yep. That's a gig. That's a gig you would get my money.
Hell yeah.
Like a year and a half since they gigs. Yeah, that's the first one I'm coming back to.
Yeah. Especially that moment when it's like late in the evening and the ghost of Johnny Cash walks out. Yeah. That's what I'd have.
Yeah, so that was.
I don't sit and listen to music that often. Like I'm more like video games and like watch. I watch obviously wrestling a lot, but like I watch like like the shows on Disney Plus like Mandalorian and all that sort of stuff. Like the series is. That's what I'm more sort of into. But I do have like loads of music on my phone, and I listen to it if I'm like working or if I'm at the gym or something.
Aye.
I had a while where you played Red Dead 2.
No.
Right.
Like,
So there's a bit in that. There's a bit in Red Dead Redemption 2, right, where you've bought like a new plot of land, and you're building a barn and a house on it.
Right.
And it just goes into like you gather the materials and shit, and then it goes into like a musical interlude where it's like it shows them building the farm and shit. But the song in it is called it's like the house building song or something. And it's like this like happy like country music where they're like building a house. He's like, oh, I'm gonna build a house with a hammer and a chisel and all this shit. And I went for like 2 months at the gym, where every time I went to the gym, it was the house building song on repeat. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm building a house. It's great. I fucking love country music.
I can go some country, like my missus.
I don't like the fucking just like cheesy like happy country, or I don't like the modern sort of country stuff. I like outlaw country like Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash.
See, my missus, she watched that. I can't remember what the name of the show was. It was some like modern country show, or like TV. Right. And it was this like moral stuff, and that's no for me. It's like, nah, give me fucking Jerry Lee and fucking, like you say, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. I can get over that.
Aye. Waylon Jennings, and you get like, I could even do with like a little bit of like Jolene. That's cracking.
But like I'm predominantly a metal guy, but a lot of the shit I can get into. Like I'm not.
Like as I say, the music that I've got on there is like, it's either like shit like Bring Me the Horizon, where it's like very like emo, screamy sort of stuff, or it's like outlaw country. And then every now and then there's like a few like synthwave songs and stuff to like just chill out to. But
we've got this like group chat, or it's me, Caleb, Scotty, Martin, and Thunder, and it's just try to do each other with the most ridiculous metal we can come up with, the most screamy stuff. Like what's the most dangerous death metal you can come up with? This is this.
Yeah. Like I've never got into like death metal or black metal or anything, but like I do like. I don't know why. I like music that's like a cool, fast like metal riff with like a guy talking about like wanting to kill himself and stuff on it. You know what I mean? He's like moaning about stuff and just like whinging about life, and then it gets to like, you know, he's doing like his choruses where he's like screaming and stuff, and then it gets to the verse and it's like, oh. You know, I love that shit.
A bit melodic and
or like Evanescence and shit like that. I like that. Evanescence, and like during lockdown, I went into like a big like music from when I was 10 phase. You know what I mean? So I was like Evanescence and like Linkin Park Hybrid Theory and Limp Bizkit and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is real music. This.
See, that was a lot of that shit is the shit that got me into proper metal, like Limp Bizkit and fucking Korn and all that. Like new metal.
Because that's like the gateway drug of like heavier stuff. Isn't it?
Like I was probably fucking 12, 13 when all that shit started coming out.
Yeah.
That's like,
how old are you now? You're a bit older than me. You're like 35,
37 now. 37. So yeah, I was
so you're 5 years older than me.
So that shit was like, we were into like, before that we were into like Oasis and Radiohead and all that caper, and then Limp Bizkit and fucking Korn and Kid Rock. That shit started coming out.
Oh, Kid Rock, man. See, like before I discovered like Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and fucking Crazy Town and all that shit, right? Mine Crazy Town.
It's a blast of the past.
Yeah. But like, before I like discovered all that shit, this is fucking great. So this was like at the time when cassettes were like just going out of fashion, right?
Aye.
So you could still buy them and stuff, but like folk were getting onto CDs and stuff.
Aye.
And like I'd started getting pocket money, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go buy some cassettes because I've got a wee cassette player. So up until I found like Kid Rock and shit like that, the only 2 cassettes I owned was the Michael Jackson Earth song right? And I had the Power Rangers theme, but on the B side of it was the Green Ranger theme. Fuck yeah. That was the only music I had in my life, and I just played between Earth Song and Green Ranger's theme. And then
That's fucking tremendous.
Yeah, and then I discovered like Linkin Park and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be.
That's a big fucking jump. Just a fucking Earth
So
song.
you can imagine how fucking blown my mind was when I went from fucking go Green Ranger, go, and then I was just all of a sudden it was like Linkin Park. I was like, fucking Jesus. Because Green Ranger was the coolest.
I think
I
was always a Black Ranger guy.
Oh. I think the Green Ranger and Chris Jericho are the reasons that I have long hair. That's it. Them two.
James Green, was that Tommy? Was it Green?
Tommy. He was the one that came. He was the one that came in as a heel. Rita Repulsa created him, and he came in as the heel. But then he turned face and joined them.
Aye.
He turned face and joined them, and immediately became their leader. And I was like, "Fucking hell!"
I just took over.
He must be raging. This boy's been like joining and like fucking up their shit for months, and now he's like their leader.
Yeah.
And then they had the movie, and then he became a ninja, and I just went downhill after that.
Yeah.
Ninjas.
Like I said, I've got 2 kids now. I think there's a good chance that Power Rangers still on. Is like fucking like umpteenth fucking generation at this point.
Power Rangers in
holy
space.
Fuck.
Power Rangers in space. What is the world?
It's like fucking Power Rangers, fucking World Police or whatever is it? What the fuck is this?
I fucking like recently I was like, so you know how Power Rangers was like, it was weird because it was like it had like the bits where they were out of their suits and it was just all weird.
It was like it was old Japanese fucking comic, but it's super Saigon or so or whatever. They just cut it in.
Some American company got the rights to use that footage, and they were just like, make them teenagers, put them in a school.
Aye, basically.
Here comes the grey guys. Now cut to that footage.
Let's make it just Saved by the Bell at the end, and we'll cut in this ninja shit. That'll do.
Yeah. Because then that was it. They had Kamen Rider. He was called Masks Rider in the UK. Do you remember him?
Vaguely,
he had like a green and black mask that had like antennas. He had a motorbike.
Yeah.
So like in that fucking Japanese show, there was a crossover with him. And when the Americans got to that episode, they were like, "Oh shit! Now we've got to use him somehow." And where's he come from? And then it turned like they made him into like it was the same like the Green Ranger. When the Green Ranger turned up in that show, they were like, "Oh shit! We've got another Ranger. What we're gonna do? Oh, he's a bad guy in this, right? We'll make him the bully of the school. That's it." So, oh great, of course. He's a transfer student that came over and he's a bully.
Yeah.
What a show! What a show!
It was.
I used to like that. I used to like watching the X-Men cartoon, and then
that was fucking good.
Do you mind? Do you remember? What was it called? Gargoyles. Do you mind that?
Vaguely, yeah.
It was like another like animated thing like the X-Men cartoons, but it was like they were gargoyles, but it became like super dark in like season 2, and they started like there was like people. One of them was depressed, and they were like having relationships and stuff, and it became just like it became just like a soap, but it was these gargoyles. It was weird.
Yeah, no, I vaguely remember that.
There was the other one that was like a shitty version of Power Rangers. I know exactly what it's called, but I'm waiting to see if you know what I'm talking about.
It was VR Rangers or something.
No. So it was these kids, and they found a haunted house, and then a ghost that looked like a blue Jay Leno turned them into superheroes.
Aye.
Do you mind that? They were called the Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Oh yeah, vaguely, yeah. Aye.
Yeah, Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
That was fucking cracking, because it was just another one of those. They'd got the rights to some Japanese show where boys were in suits to look like Beatles, and they were like, "Fuck."
Yes, we can make someone of this.
These kids found a ghost who's got a big chin like Jay Leno. Now they're superheroes. Done.
Power Rangers need to kill us. Let's get on this.
Yeah. Okay, great. All those shows were great though.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't know. Like Marty, none of these guys would ever make it these days.
Nah.
And
Imagine
saying
if they
that-
came up with a show like fucking Power Rangers nowadays.
Yeah.
Like if it
Never-
was
it would
brand
never
new.
sell.
folk
Never
would be like,
sell.
what the fuck is this shit? These boys have got wee belt buckles that turn them into like boys in suits, and then all of a sudden a big robot dinosaur comes out. What the fuck are you saying?
No
Imagine
danger.
that pitch. Someone pitches that, you're like, what the fuck are you saying? You tell me this one boy has got like a fucking rhinoceros robot, and then all their robots like run at each
Together
other.
to make
stick
one
together,
big
and it's
robot.
a big man. It's a big dude now. What are you saying? Fuck off.
Yeah, it would never go.
Megazord.
Never sell.
I had the Megazord toy. You know,
Oh,
you could like break apart and you made them into the little ones. Oh fuck! Holy shit! I just by thinking about that, biker mice from Mars. That was fucking
I
shit.
had all them. Me and my
I
brother
had
had
all
that
of
when we were kids.
And they had like the antennas, but like you could put the helmet on, the antennas went into their
Aye,
heads.
it went in their heads, so it was squished down.
Oh,
Aye,
fuck.
yep.
Biker mice from Mars was the fucking shit. You and Archer and fucking Caden need to get biker mice from Mars gear. You could be like fucking Throttle, and you have the big like robot arm.
That was Modo.
Was that Modo?
Modo.
Throttle
Yes,
was
the big grey
Throttle
one.
was the thing.
He was the leader.
Yeah. Throttle was the
brown
cool.
And
Throttle was the cool one with the
Vinny
bandana
was the
and
one
shit.
that had the super bike.
Aye, he was the little white one, wasn't
Aye.
he? Yeah.
See,
Fuck
all
yeah.
of this shit.
Biker mice from Mars. I
Test
stopped
my
watching.
Mike for that. Mars
I
knowledge.
stopped watching it when they added a fourth mouse, though.
Aye, no, they did. Was it a girl mouse they added?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So never add a fourth member that they're rejected, otherwise it's just to get cancelled.
Aye, it'll go down hell.
It will. Don't do it. Yeah.
But like I said, I am bursting for a pish, so we're shutting this shit down. That's enough of that
Cool.
for today.
That's a good way to end, Phil. Biker mice from Mars.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's something we can go back to.
We'll come back and we'll have an episode just about biker mice from Mars and gargoyles.
This is my content for next year. We'll get wrestlers on to speak about all cartoons. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll start that podcast. You can be the first guest.
Aye, let's do it.
Aspen's All Cartoon Podcast. There you go.
So yeah, there's your cliffhanger for fucking next year. But
Hell yeah.
thanks again to my guest this week. It's like I said, it's Billy Strachan's favourite wrestler. It's Aspen Faith.
That's me.
And we'll be back again for more of this nonsense in the future. Probably next year when Aspen starts his podcast and he gets us on.
My cartoon about 90s cartoons. My little podcast about the cartoons from the 90s.
So yeah, thanks again, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah.